The Olympic Games, World Championships, Commonwealth Games. The United Kingdom has hosted them all, but not until this week. The European Athletics Championships were here in Birmingham. The Alexander Stadium, which has undergone a facelift, well, rather more than a facelift, a rebuild in recent years. An absolutely stunning facility at the heart of England. Well, this is the first evening of competition. We've got 7 days of it. Started off this morning, and as you can see there, the weather is absolutely perfect. Barely a cloud in the sky. A little bit of breeze out there, which was helping the sprinters down the home straight this morning in the heats, but there's a sense that that wind has actually dropped. And there you can see just the improvements in the facilities here. Magnificent warm-up track. Here is the timetable. 5 titles to be decided this evening, both shot titles, the men's and women's. The women's shot due to get underway in the next minute or so. We then have qualification for the hammer throw. Action on the track gets underway in just a little over half an hour. We have 3 heats of the women's 100-metre hurdles. Before we move on to the women's semi-finals of the 100 metres, 2 Britons enter competition, having been given byes earlier this morning. Dina Asher-Smith and Amy Hunt, as well as Amani Laura Lancico. We've also got heats tonight of the women's steeplechase. Elise Thorner going in those, who went so well at the Commonwealth Games. But these are the finalists for the women's shot. Hugely competitive final this. We had the qualifying earlier on in the day. And, well, I guess you'd say the favourite here, Joranda van Klinken of the Netherlands. There she is, going through those 12 athletes. Stand starting to fill up as well. Emilia Kangas, she represents Finland. She's got a best this season of 18 metres 29. So the first put will be with us very shortly. And the Netherlands have 2 competitors in this final. I mentioned perhaps the favourite, and there's the other. Let's join our commentary team in a couple of moments' time.
Looking very focused indeed. Rotational technique. Good start for Skilda, just under 20 metres. She's so regularly over 20 metres, she's not going to be happy with that at all. Very effective, very quick across the circle. Perhaps didn't get a shoulder quite as effectively behind it as she'd have liked. Nevertheless, that throws down the gauntlet. Qualifying this morning, led by Mabray at 19.25. 1981, great opener for Skilda. Only 2 women have gone over 20 metres this year. That's her and Mabray, and it's going to be Mabray next in the circle.
Well, that really sets the standard, doesn't it? That might well be good enough for a medal straight out of the blocks, because only 2 other athletes have thrown further than that this year in Europe. So that's a fabulous opener from the Dutch world #1. Now Mabray. Previously, as Phil said, Ogunleye. The Olympic champion, of course, from Paris 2024. Goes for the Mannheim club. Super religious. Loves her singing. Focusing. Visualisation of the effort required. Here we go, first round. Chance to shot the field. Now that's solid. That's solid. Her personal best and season's best, 20.37. It's nowhere near 20 metres, but it's okay. It's up there in the 19.5, maybe slightly further area. Yeah, it's only over 19 metres, and she's happy with it. 19.20, another solid opener, Phil.
Yes, that really is. Good starting position for Mabray. There's not too many women who are going to be throwing over 19 metres in this field. There's a few others that have gone over 19 metres this year, though, and the next one into the circle will be One woman who's already got a major championship medal to her name this year, Axelina Johansson, picking up the 4 kilogram shot, took bronze at the World Indoor Championships in Poland back in March. Improved in the US to 1997, that's a Swedish record. Last year, took gold at the World University Games in Germany. Settling in. Didn't really seem to get that together. It wasn't the best of rotation in the circle. It just drops down at 18 metres. She can do better, and she certainly will be aiming to do so. After 2 very good openers, it's a rather lacklustre start for the Swede at 17.92.
She's another of those athletes, Phil, that's at college in the USA. She won the NCAA championships back in June, and she's already had a very, very long season, very long summer for her. And it's understandable when many of these athletes, even though she's 26, when they've got the collegiate season behind them in the USA, which begins in March, April, by July, August, very often they're on their last legs, they're tired. Maybe Johansson can go better than that. Now, this is interesting. Jorinda van Klinken hasn't gone beyond 1934 this year, but that's a fabulous open. I reckon that's her season's best. There and then. Yeah, coach likes it and she likes it. That is a brilliant opening effort from the Dutch athlete. A lifetime best is 1957. I think she's just thrown a lifetime best. Wow. 1964 she has. What a way to open your account. Puts her into second place.
Well, a great opener from Van Klinken there. Took the silver 2 years ago. And at the moment, she's in the silver medal position at this very early stages of this competition. A big smile on her face. She's often rather emotionless, but that certainly got her going. So, Fanny Roos improved her personal best at the Diamond League in Eugene to 1970. An effort of that dimension will get her into the medal contentions. It's around 19 metres. Not a bad opener, though, for the Swede. Solid plant, good technique. Once again, the majority of these women using the rotational technique. So 18.83 for Roos. 6th at last year's European Championship, last edition of the European Championships in Rome 2 years ago.
Now, Oriel Dongmo, first of the Portuguese trio to throw. World Indoor Champion back in 2022. She was on fire 2 or 3 years ago. In fact, won the World Indoor title in 22. And the European Indoor titles, 2 of them either side of that. No, that's about, what, 1840, something like that from Dongmo. She's thrown over 19 metres this year, and she is almost a 20.5 metre throw at her absolute best. She can certainly medal in a field of this calibre, but she's not really hit her straps this year, and she'll be disappointed with that open, I think. 18.46, 5th place.
Yes, as you say, Dongmo, a little bit below her very best this year. Maybe in the twilight of her career at 36 years of age. Now, Jessica Inchude, who's really taken over bragging rights from Dongmo as far as the Portuguese shot putters are concerned. So personal best just over 2 weeks ago, 1962 to win the Portuguese title. Well, that drops down below 19 metres. Not the best of starts from Inchude. That's about a metre down on her best, and she is in great form at the moment. Just a little bit slow, didn't really put the maximum effort behind the shoulder. 18.35 for Inchude, 6th at the moment.
Well, the big young German talent of the moment steps into the circle now for her first effort. Nina Choma and Dubuisi, European under-23 champion last year. 2 years ago, the European under-20 champion. What can she do here? She's very slight compared with a lot of these throwers. And that, well, she has thrown 18.62 this year, almost 19 metres last year. She's all smiles. You can be this early. But well, she's almost got the build of a 400-metre runner. And power makes so much difference in this discipline. If you can get it behind that implement. 18.08 when Debussy, something to build on.
The person who preceded her is the European under-23 champion, Alida van Dalen. Well, in 2023 she also took the under-23 discus title as well. No, wasn't quite there. Below 18 metres. She'll get it measured at this stage. It's a bit of a lacklustre opener from Van Dalen. We were talking this morning about the possibility of a Dutch clean sweep after them taking 1 and 2 in Rome. I'm not sure it's on, but anyway, Van Dalen competing very effectively so far, making the final. The discus probably her better event.
Right, the third of the Portuguese, Liana Bandeira. World University Games silver medalist a couple of years back. 30 years old now, has thrown 18.95 this year, and that is a lifetime best. Quick across the circle, but no, that one must have slipped out the back of her hand. That's gone all wrong. Again, able to smile. Bandeira, she's 1.79 m, 5'10", with Van Dalen, who threw just before her, is huge. She's 1.88 m, 6'2". Quite a contrast between the pair of them, but she does foul out that one, Bandeira.
A very tall German, Katrina Maisch, going into the circle. Struggled in qualifying, finally got it right this morning. She did have a big foul, which might, if she'd have stayed in the circle, have improved her personal best. So it was a bit of an erratic qualifying performance this morning, but a solid opener. At 18.50 there or thereabouts. She's very tall, very strong, perhaps not quite the quickest in the circle. $18.39 for Maisch. She's in 6th place at the moment. So many members of the German team, a member of the Armed Forces Club.
And last in this first round of this women's shot put final, Emilia Kangas of Finland, who 18.04 in qualifying this morning. Quite close to her season's best. Won the Finnish title just a couple of weeks ago in 18.10. No, that didn't look like she really got hold of that one. Not the same smiles from her. No, I think she knew that wasn't right. 17.02 her opening effort. So only one no throw in those first 12 efforts, but already Schilder on top of the pile, not by a huge margin though, Phil.
No, solid opener from her, 19.81, but being challenged by Van Klinken's personal best, 19.64, but that's a huge one. That's a great effort from her. Just remember, only 2 women have gone over 20 metres this year. That includes Schilder. And that's another effort over 20 metres. 21.09 coming at the Shanghai Diamond League meeting back in May. And she's had a long season herself, still managing to carry on really good form. 20.09. Excellent second effort from Jessica Schilder.
Yemiti Mabry next to go then. And she knows she's got to find quite a bit of distance. She opened well with 19.20. She's in 3rd place. She was in 2nd initially, but Van Klinken going up to 19.64. So another half metre or so would do nicely here for the German. Careers, of course, are defined by medals. She is the reigning Olympic champion. Can she find that Paris form here? No, I don't think so. That's not as good. That's just over 18 metres. She opened with 19.20. The youngster was involved in gymnastics, Missy Mabry, and that helps so much. The world #1 at the moment from the USA. In the discus is a former dancer. That coordination, that lightness on your feet can be so valuable.
So, Axelina Johansson. Rather lackluster effort to 17.92, her opener. Regularly over 18.5 metres, culminating in that 1992 Swedish record. But as Tim was saying, it has been a long year for Johansson. That again, well, it's an improvement. It's only about 18.30. Johansson struggling to find her form here at the moment. Just looking at that. Doesn't quite have the zip that she had earlier in the season. Slight improvement to 18.18.
So Van Klinken then. She may well be heading for a medal, but she'd have to her personal best to get the lead here. Schilder might already have secured her hat-trick of wins with that 20.09 in the second round. It's a massive effort from her. That's again very solid from Van Klinken. 19.64, a personal best her opener. And that one doesn't look quite as far, but not much less, I would venture. Phil mentioned she's a brilliant discus thrower as well. Has thrown over 70 metres in the discus this year. 1964 personal best. She came here with a PB of 1957. She's put another 7 centimetres on it there in that opening round. And that's a solid backup to put a slightly stronger sheen, so to speak, on her second place position at the moment if it comes down to second best throws.
Well, a good series to start with from Jorinda Van Klinken. Best series of the lot, though. Her teammate Jessica Schilder. Fanny Roos, just down to the medals at the moment. In fourth place with 18.83. And that's another good effort. That might have just sneaked a few centimetres over 19 metres. Roos in good form. Last meeting was to win the Swedish title with 19.37. And of course, that did beat Axelina Johansson. 19.05 for the Swede. Still in fourth place, though.
So, Dongmo next into the circle, sixth in the throwing order. She opened with a pretty modest 18.46. She is one of the few women in this competition who's gone over 20 metres, albeit 4 years ago, as Phil mentioned. She is 36 now, the Portuguese. Oh, and just loses that one, I think. Dongmo. It looks pretty similar to her opener. Yeah, loses control there, and that'll be a no throw for the former world indoor champion. Not sure she's really anywhere near the form to present a realistic threat to Schilder's dominance. Seems to be okay after that fall. Stays in fifth place with that opener.
Too bruised and battered. Jesserin Jude, two-time Olympic finalist at the last 2 Olympic Games. Really coming good this year at 30 years of age. Before coming here, had a very good national title, as I mentioned, in the first round. That's going to be more or less around the same mark as her first round effort of 18.35, though. Needs to find that form that she showed in Lisbon. So a 3 centimetre improvement for Jesserin Jude.
Always impressive, isn't it, when athletes use something almost identical quite often again and again, and you think, wow, they really are in the groove. Here then, and Debussy, 18.08, her opener. Half a metre or so down on her season's best. No, way below 18 metres, that one. Going in the wrong direction. European under-20 champion a couple of years back. The Schorndorf athlete. He's at University of Texas in Austin, in the USA, but in Debussy with that second round effort. She fouled out that one.
So Lida Van Dalen, formerly a University of Florida student, and several of the other athletes had great success in the American Collegiate Championships earlier in her career. That one drops well short. She might well have gone out of the front of the circle there. Just looking around to see whether the red flag was shown. No, it is being measured. Love the fact that she competes with a cap. You don't see that too often from too many shot putters. 17.21. It's her mother, who was a Olympic competitor back in 1996, who coaches her. Also her brother.
So, Eliana Bandeira then. No throw in the first round. Badly needs a decent effort here, the Portuguese. He's thrown nearly 19 metres this year. Oh, does she get that one right? And it's way below 18 metres. She's just not hitting her straps. Dear oh dear, has put herself under enormous pressure now, otherwise she won't make the cut. Remember, the top 8. After 3 rounds, the top 8 go on to have a further 3 throws. Does she retrieve that one? I think she did. Yes, 17.20 for Bandeira, but she's down in 11th place.
So the third of the 3 Germans in this competition, Katrina Maisch, got second in the German Championships behind Mabray. Had a solid opener. Not spectacular, 18.39. And well, we were talking about that in respect of 1 or 2 other athletes. That's almost exactly the same distance once again. Not quite. That's her very best this year. Personal best. 19.25 has gone over 19 metres this year. 18.28. So 11 centimetres shy of a first round effort.
So the last throw of this second round, then Emilia Cangas next to go. Sister is a good javelin thrower. Where's the Kuotanin Kunto club? 17.02, her modest opener. She's well capable of going up towards 18.5 metres. That's a little better. 17.02 her opener. That's about 18.20. Plenty of support for her. That is certainly a substantial improvement. I think she's just put over a metre. Yeah, up into 8th place. 18.20. Fabulous second round effort. And now she can relax and focus for her third round effort and try and embed herself better into the top 8 with her third round effort. At only 9 centimetres down on her season's best.
Well, Jessica Schilder, this competition's cracking along. 20.09 puts her 45 centimetres in front of the best of the rest. 19.81 followed up with 20.09, and that's further. That is a lot further. Well, and that's further than anyone else in Europe has done this year. Very clean effort, white flag. 20.52. Terrific effort from Schilder. almost a metre further than anybody else at the moment. First woman to congratulate her, Katrina Maisch. Seen them in competition before, good friends.
Incredibly quick arm, Schilder there, the way she winds up across the circle. All these athletes, of course, these days use the rotational technique. It used to be a short, sharp push across the circle. But rotational technique enables centrifugal force to be built up. It's just hard to control. But Maybury then, the Olympic champion, 1920 her opener. No throw in the second round. Oh no, down on the 18-metre line. Don't know if she'll bother with having that one measured. I think she is. No, she's not. Of course, you know what, Phil, when somebody throws so big and they've put the gold medal to bed, which I think Schilder has done, it plays on the minds of the others. If you can get into the head of your opponents with the throws, it really helps, doesn't it?
Indeed, and she's now 15 centimetres better than the best personal best of anybody else. Belongs to Yemisi Mabry. Well, this woman was close to 19 metres this year, but is struggling a little bit to find the best form in this competition. Axelina Johansson. Big improvement this year, which she puts down to spending a lot of time in the weight room, really building up the muscle. Rather slow across the circle once again, and it's just over 18 metres. She's in grave danger. Well, that won't see her through, I don't think. Might just edge her in front of Kangas, who's in 8th place at the moment with 18.20. No, 17.99. And I have to say, that's the first shock of this competition. Axelina Johansson will take no further part in this shot put final.
Yeah, massive disappointment for the Swedish squad. That she's 3rd ranked in Europe this year. I might have thought there was a pretty good chance of a medal from the NCAA champion. I explained earlier how she may be throwing tired. Van Klinken now, an opener that was a new personal best, 1964, 1934 in round 2, and that one below 18. No, again, no point in that one getting measured. She stays in silver medal position though, albeit, well, the fat end of a metre behind Schilder's incredible 3 efforts so far.
Schilder just prowling around. I think she can feel very confident at this stage in the competition. Fanny Roos, well, she's got 2 European indoor medals to her name. Took a silver in 2021, bronze 2 years later. Can she get amongst the medals here? No, not with that effort. That's not going to be an improvement. Indeed. I think she saw where it landed and just walked out. Bounced down very close to the left-hand side of that sector, but I think it landed in a legal position. It was only about 18 metres. She's got 19.05 to her name. There's the coach, Stefan Jonsson.
So, Dongmo next to go. 18.46 her opener. She's in 5th place to get up and amongst the medals. Mabry is throwing 19.20. That's what she needs to move into bronze medal position. Straight forward across the circle. No rotational throwing technique from her. Dongmo. Conditions, by the way, beautiful. It's 22 degrees centigrade here in Birmingham. Great Britain, like most of Europe, having a sizzling summer. It's just gone 7:30, or it's about 7:30 local time here. We're to the north of the city centre, and unlike in Glasgow with the Commonwealth Games 10 days or so ago, where conditions were often very wet in the circle, these conditions are absolutely perfect for good throwing. for Dongmo there. 19.05, a little bit of an improvement for Dongmo, but she does stay in 5th place on countback with Fanny Roos in 4th, having also thrown 19.05, but with a better second best distance.
Schilder still prowling around, very experienced. At this stage, doesn't need to worry. Nobody close to challenging her. A lead of almost a metre. Jessica Inchude on home soil, competes for the famous Sporting Club from Lisbon. Sporting clubs in Portugal, famous for its green and white hoops. Here she's wearing the Portuguese green with red. 7th at the moment. No, that's no improvement. Stay down in 7th place, and it'll be a nervy couple of minutes for Inchude. There are women who are currently further down the standings at the moment who can overtake her.
Quite a few athletes here looking to move up a place or two in each of these throws. The 1-2-3 at the moment, by the way, is the 1-2-3 at the end of the competition 2 years ago in Rome. Well, the women's hammer throw first group about to get out, and Alex, for them too, compared with Glasgow, these are glorious conditions.
Yes, absolutely. They'll be very glad for it. And as we run the rule over this hammer, 71.50 is the automatic mark to make it through to the final. This is Beatrice Lano of Norway here. Good agility and balance through the circle there. So quite rightly, we've continued to focus through those early rounds of the shot put final. This just qualification, but just catching up on what's been happening so far in hammer qualification, with that second group coming later on at just after 8:30 local time, so just over an hour. But Lano, you can see here, over that automatic mark of 71.50, and that's a really good result for her. Do you know what? She's done 7 major championships and never made a final. And look what she's done in the first round. Incredible. And we're looking here at Eva Svoboda. Do you know what? It's going to be very, very close tonight in this 100 final. We were saying earlier that the last 2 championships, particularly, tiny fractions of a second between the medalists, both Munich and Rome. That's Imani Lancico, coming off the back of a strong Commonwealth Games, described by her, among others, as her best individual final performance. Geraldine Letizio Fry, perhaps a bit of a surprise European leader, and it's always interesting to see, especially as she wasn't in the heats, can she actually live up to that form? Amy Hunt, though, early in the season, she was having a very strong 100-metre sort of run of form, and now she says actually the 200 metres, typically her strongest event, might be the one where she's more potent. Gina Lukenkemper won on home soil in Munich. Alongside her, Patricia van der Weyken just missed out on the medal in Rome, but has made history for Luxembourg. So, this is the first heat of the women's 100 metres hurdles. And again, we will have athletes seeded straight through to those semi-finals. We see this lovely drone shot. Actually going to go underneath the hurdles. I can actually see the drone in my peripheral vision coming towards these athletes as we get ready to introduce them. So first of all, Celeste Polzanetti won her first Italian senior title this year, alongside her Ida Weiterbomber, who's broken the national record this year. Had been 12.83, now 12.79. This is Mira Groot-Romein on her international debut, the Dutch athlete. Claudia Wojtnik of Poland, a European under-23 medalist 5 years ago. Ella Joster Bock, Norwegian indoor champion over 60 hurdles. Also good over 60 hurdles is Emma Nwafor. Competed for Great Britain at the European Indoors 5 years ago in Turin in that event. Selina Volnikovski, last year's Swiss champion. And then the Balkan gold medalist, Milica Emini of Serbia. So this is all based on time, and you'll know that if you're watching this morning, of course. So it's effectively 12, with a small Q next to their name, added to the 12 that are seeded. They're straight through to the semi-finals. So it may mean less easing up across the line. Let's see how it plays out. Polzanetti, Bajter Bomber, Groot Romein, Vostonik, Bock, Nwofor, Woniakowski and Dimini in this first heat. Decent getaway in the orange by Groot Romein. And now Bajter Bomber of Denmark in the red and black starting to come through. Bock just about in second place as Polzanetti comes through for Italy across the line. Well, she was the fastest athlete based on PBs coming into this, into a minus 1.2 wind. Quite different to what we saw earlier. And 12.80 the time as she came across the line there. So, yeah, not too far away from that personal best. In fact, all of her top 9 fastest times now are in 2026, and that's one way to back things up. Bajter Bomber and Bock of Denmark and Norway respectively 3rd and 4th, but they're all waiting to see who will go through based on times.
Well, it was a very even start from all of them, and then Bajter Bomber starting to get away in the middle stage of the race. At this stage, Polzanetti starts working hard over the final 3 barriers. Really tidy hurdling from the Italian, and she comes home only 600ths away from her personal best. Nice head-on shot there. Perhaps a little bit disappointing. Nwofor didn't really get into a running in the early stages of the race. Nevertheless, Bajter Bomber doing extremely well. Italians, we've got a good crop of young hurdlers coming through at the moment. Going to see in the next heat Giada Kamasi as well. And she's a very quick hurdler, well under 13 seconds.
Yeah, there's the full result for all 8 athletes. And as you say, those 2 more heats coming up in a few moments' time. Next one in 5 minutes. So obviously women's hammer qualification, but women's shot put final.
And Debussy then. 3rd and final effort for the German. 18.08 in the first round. No throw in the second round. Can she join her compatriots who are guaranteed spots in the final? And that's better. That's quite a lot better. 18.08 her opener. She's in 10th place. Now, she needed this to get up into 8th. She needs something around 18.20, 18.21. And it is 18.21. Wow. That squeezes her into the top 8. And she should get 3 more throws. There's a couple more people to throw yet who could go ahead of her. Kangas is one of them.
Yes, Kangas just been edged out now. She's down in 9th by 1 centimetre. Kangas, a finalist 2 years ago as well. Finished 12th on that occasion. No, she's not going to progress. So she doesn't make the cut once again. And look at the delight. That's her medal for Ndebwasi, getting 3 more throws. But it's a disappointment for Kangas. That 18.20 in the previous round. No birthday present for the birthday girl, I'm afraid.
Kangas, the Swede there, missing out by, well, a couple of centimetres. If she'd had a best of 18.21, she'd still be 9th on countback. That's yeah, hard to swallow. Her championships is done. The season's best only 18.29, and she did throw 18.20, so very close to the best she's thrown this entire season in many, many competitions. So you can't really be overly disappointed with that.
So that was a replay a little bit earlier. All the drama at the end of the 3rd round. Now we're at the start of the 4th. And Ndebwasi, as we saw, just squeaking into the top 8. No improvement for Ndebwasi. Just steps out. Red flag for her.
Yeah, she has got 3 more throws, though, at least. 2 more. 2 more throws, excuse me, yeah, 2 more throws. But there's a card. It's going in the right direction, generally. She can take stock now and reset.
Now we move on to the 2nd of 3. Well, it's called in the team manual the pre-qualifying round. I'm going to call it the first round, that makes it a lot simpler. See, as Tim was saying, that nice drone shot. Wonderful blue track here in the Alexander Stadium. Once again, nobody in lane one. There's the Italian, Iada Camossi, national record holder from last year when she ran 12:69 in Stockholm. Hasn't been in quite the same sort of form, but has been comfortably under 13 seconds on a couple of occasions. Almost from Holdenegg, Norwegian. Just last at 12:74 recently. So let's give you the full lineup. Lane 2, Enja Kamak, Belgium, co-holder of the national record at 12:71. Before mentioned, Iada Camossi, two-time Italian champion. Leah Flotov finished third in the recent national championships in Germany, in good form at the moment, 12:83. Holbein Holdovec, 12:79 in her national championship. Sarah Levin hasn't broken 13 seconds though this year. Karen Stramets, very good indoor runner. Esther Bendova, reigning Slovak champion. Rising star of Slovak athletics, and on the outside, Lagerson Kammer of Denmark.
On your marks. Genau, das Springen ist gut. So. Guck ein bisschen die Attacke, aber genauso. Dann kannst du Kopf stehen lassen, er kommt auch ein bisschen, dann kannst du fliegen.
First heat won by Paul Zanetti of Italy, 12:80. We're going to need to be running under 13 seconds to stand a chance of going through to those semi-finals tomorrow night.
Set.
Well, Flotto got left in her block. She stumbled there. In the meantime, it's the Belgium in lane 2 flying away. And Tap Niemak is running really well at the moment. Coming through strongly, the Norwegian Hovenstrein Stradenek. 12:82. Some good running in this first round of the women's 100 metres hurdles. It's not very far away from a personal best. Less than a tenth. Came through really strongly in the latter part of the race.
Yes, another athlete improving this year, going sub 12:80, similar time to what we saw in that first heat. Polzanetti 12:80, of course, and now 12:82. See Jemek reaching for a couple of the barriers, but Norwegian coming through very strongly, a little bit like Polzanetti in the last 10-20 metres of the race. Former European under-18 champion, the Norwegian, and a little bit of a late bloomer. That was back in 2018. So I can see so far that the results that have come in, at least 6 athletes are sub 13 seconds at the moment, and if you consider there are 3 heats, most likely about 3 or 4 going through from each. And Sarah Lavin, yes, you said she hasn't gone sub 13 this year. She has had a couple of injuries and issues to deal with over the last few years, and not quite back to her best form, but has had some great results over the past. Just looking for her time, 13:07, so that could be right on the cusp of what will be needed.
Nevertheless, a good run from Holbenstein, Hovenegg, and all of these women looking to challenge their personal bests in tomorrow night's semi-finals. Already confirmed that the Dane has got through, can't be beaten because there's only 8 women in the next race. So confirmed Niemak.
Back to this women's shot then. Van Klinken. Well, opened with 1964. This her 4th round effort, 1934 in round 2, and then that no throw, but she is in 2nd place. Brilliant opener. It was a personal best that she really celebrated in style, but fouls out there. Pushing for more. She's under pressure because Schilder is way, way out there. I mean, I think what her prime objective is to try and open more of a gap on Yemisi Mabry, the Olympic champion from Germany, who's in 3rd place behind her, and to give herself a tighter grip on the silver. And here is Schilder now.
Schilder goes into the circle. That almost metre lead over Jorinda van Klinken. Oh, that looks like a massive effort. Well, it's well over 20 metres. I'm not quite sure it's as far as 20.52 from the previous round. Gets a red flag. Oh, what a pity. Oh, yeah, just stumbled out. We're watching the trajectory of the shot as it flew through the air. Nevertheless, that just gives you an impression of what she's capable of.
So back to the women's hammer just qualification. We saw Nedberga Lana of Norway making her first international final at the 8th attempt by going over the automatic mark of 71.50. Trine Koch Jakobsen, the Danish record holder and one of their biggest medal hopes here, certainly if not their biggest, foul in the first round. But that looks good, around the 70-metre mark, which should be enough. So a reminder that this group going initially and then the second group in around 45 minutes time. Jakobsen, who was 8th in Tokyo at the World Championships last year, 5th in Rome, 70.58, and that's second best at the moment. Behind Lano's 72.09, automatically through, as I say. So keep you up to date with this, because we've also got that fantastic shot put final and the men's coming up a little later on. There's Nick Ponzio with his sunglasses indoors. That's okay, he'll be outside soon.
Yeah, just seeing a glimpse there of Zane Weir. There's Konrad Bukowiecki, former European indoor champion. Limbering up. And Scott Lincoln looking very relaxed. We saw him really enjoying the moment in the heats this morning, sitting there with a massive fan in front of him. It really wasn't that warm. Victor Pettersson, always up there, very competitive, the Swede.
Well, that's all still to come, and we'll see how the women's shot final plays out. But first, this third heat of the women's 100 metres hurdles.
On the track, it's time for heat number 3, the final heat of the women's 100 metre
So Paul Zanetti and then Kolben Shaven Pjornovic, the two heat winners so far. As we meet this third set of athletes, Larissa Berteni of Switzerland, World University relay silver last year. On to Annika Halbo, won her first national title this year. Exactly the same as Lerato Pares of Spain, 21-year-old. Teresa Shinova from Czechia, former heptathlete, over 6:30 in the long jump at best. Elena Carraro, another of this great Italian contingent. Anna Tott of Hungary, a world under-20 medalist. Rosina Schneider, a European under-20 champion 3 years ago, and Lovisa Andersson hoping to follow her teammate who looks to be through to those semi-finals. And they're both chasing after the national record held by Isabella Pedersen. Remember her probably just at the start of this real Norwegian boom in athletics. 12.72, London 2018, that time was set. And yeah, particularly Kolben Shaven-Pjornovic, who won that second heat, just 200ths shy of that. So Berteni, Halbo, Pahes, Shinova, Carraro, Tott, Schneider and Andersson in this third heat of the women's 100 metres hurdles. Well, pretty even getaway. Berteni looked good there right on the inside. Watch out for Schneider coming through in the yellow of Germany, just about shedding it at the moment. Andersson just holds on to her balance there. Rosina Schneider through, and Andersson does go down. What a contrast in emotion. Gutted for the Norwegian, but a big smile of delight. Rosina Schneider came through those European under-20s with 2 gold medals, in fact, relay and hurdles. 12.77, that improvement this year in Dessau in June.
Well,
looking very strong.
Looking like it's a personal best for Schneider, the former European under-20 champion. It was a good start from Schneider. Pages on their inside in the Spaniard also had a good start. Anderson battling away here. Now, with 4 barriers to go, Schneider starts really working hard. Tragedy for Anderson, but delight on her inside for Rosina Schneider. He's for the University of Stuttgart club. Really good hurdler, Schneider. I think she glanced across and saw the clock almost as soon as she went past the line. Realised she got another personal best. She's been really reducing her personal best on several occasions this year. I think she just shaved another, well, I was going to say 200s. The unofficial time, it's been amended to 12.76, and a personal best as well on her inside.
Yeah, 19 metres and 50. So 30 centimetre
Alpo.
improvement. Stays in front at the moment.
So back to Marbury then, round 5 for the Olympic champion from Germany. That's a series she will be pretty frustrated by. Good opener, that 19.20. She is in 3rd place, but she's looking for 19.65 to catch Van Klinken in 2nd place, and that is within her compass, and that's not bad. That might be pretty close, you know. Van Klinken is in 2nd place. Now, she opened, the Dutch athlete, with 19 metres 64. Her opener there, we saw her just then, doesn't really want to look at that one. What's Mabry gone out to? 19.50. She adds another 30 centimetres. A fabulous effort from the German. Stays in 3rd place, but gets a stronger grip on it with Sweden's Fanny Roos back in 4th place.
Quick look at the qualifiers then for the women's 100 hurdles semi-finals, where they will meet the top-seeded athletes. So Schneider leading that pack there then. And in the end, 13.04 out, 13.01 in. You can see there 2 Norwegian making it through. Unfortunately, Anderson in tears there after not. But what a shot put final this is. First time since 2014 that the top 3 are all over 19 metres, by the way. And first time since 2002 that the top 5 are all over 19. It looks like the hammer, what we're going to see next here. And Krista Tervo, so European leader. Mentioned earlier on that it's the first time since the 1970s, we're told by the Finnish Federation, that Finnish athletes lead 3 European lists. So Krista Tervo being one of those, of course. And in 5th place at the moment. So a reminder that 71.50 is needed. She's some way off that. As things stand, of course, this is only with one group. I think you really have to look at 6th place. Roughly 67.50 held by Elisabeth Runarsdottir of Iceland. That's where we are at the moment. We're in the 3rd round, and 70.42. That's much more like it from Krista Tervo, who hasn't always produced her best at major championships. Mind you, the Finns might say the same about Silja Kosonen. Big hopes between them. They both missed out on the podium 2 years ago.
Well, there's the women's shot. It's over by the 200-metre start on the 2nd bend. The crowd relatively thin in the arena on this first evening. Even though it's a beautiful evening for track and field athletics, but they will build as the week goes on. Good ticket numbers have been sold for the most sessions of these championships. Maisch next to go. She's in the 7th place. And this the 6th and final round now. And Dubuisi, her teammate, has had her last round throw, 18.09 that was. She will finish in 8th place. Here's Maisch now. To get up into 6, she needs to find another 18 centimetres. Don't think she's done it with that. No, she's not happy either. Another no throw from her. Dear, oh dear, that's her 4th consecutive no throw, and it started pretty well for the German. 18.39 her opener, and 18.28, but just couldn't build on it. And that's what happens in so many of these technical disciplines where you're under pressure, you're pushing hard for more. This is the champion surely in waiting, way out in front, Jessica Schilder.
So So Jessica Inchude, 18:57, so she's about a metre down on her recent personal best that she got in Lisbon. Doesn't look like a good throw. No, drops down well short of the 18-metre line. There's not going to be any improvement for Inchude, and she's going to finish 6th. Her best effort of 18:57 coming in the previous round. Solid performance. All 3 valid efforts over 18 metres by some margin, but I think she would have really wanted to have got a lot closer to the 19-metre mark, just for her own credibility.
Dongmo then, lying in 5th place at the moment. We're working our way through this 6th and final round. 19.05 the Portuguese through in round 3. Backs it up with a 19.01. There's her series. It's really consistent, those last 3 rounds. But to get up to the bronze medal, she needs 19 metres 50. And that, it's a solid 6th and final round effort from the big Portuguese. But I think it's about 19 metres. You can see her previous couple of throws, 19.01, 18.97. Really, really consistent throwing. Yeah, 18.97 again. You almost couldn't make it up. That is astonishing. 19.01, 18.97, and then 18.97. So within half an inch of the previous throw. It's exactly the same. That is dialed in. That is brilliant. But she finishes in 5th place.
Now, Fanny Roos. See there, Kasia Bergqvist, still the world indoor high jump record holder. Now one of the team coaches cheering the Swede along. She's so often been so close to the medals in addition to those 2 European indoor honours. Needs a big effort? No. It's not going to be an improvement for Roos. Frustration. Finishes just out of the medals once again. Her career record is littered with 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th places. Frustration, I think, written over her face. Has gone out to 1970 this year, and that would have been good enough for a medal. So the medals are decided.
They are indeed, and that means the Olympic champion Missy Mabry is at least the bronze medalist. She threw 19.50 in the 5th round. She's only had 2 valid throws, 19.20 in round 1, 19.50 in round 5. 3 no throws, of course, between those. And now she needs 19.64 to catch Van Klinken. The Dutch have gold and silver at the moment, but Van Klinken may be a little bit vulnerable here to the German. Mabry, a mother German, a father Nigerian. What can she do here? Hearts in mouths back at home. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Now, she's already thrown 19.50. That came in round 5. She's looking for 19.64. I sense, with my ageing eyesight, that she might have just fallen short of it. 19.64 is what she needed. Yeah, 19.33. Not as good as I thought, but a nice couple of throws to end up with. And a bronze medal for Germany is confirmed. And it does mean 2 medals, a gold and a silver, confirmed for the Netherlands. I don't think Phil will get too many prizes for guessing who's going to get which.
No, that's true. But Schilder still looks as though she's under threat. Corinda van Klinken, though, 2nd consecutive silver medal. If she can't improve by nearly a metre, she'll still have the competition of her life. 1964 opener. No improvement for her, though. But a delight close between the 2 Dutch women. And what a terrific competition for Van Klinken. Opened with a personal best. Takes the silver medal. Congratulations all round for Jorinda van Klinken.
Well, it is a celebration here, and a special celebration. It's a hat-trick for Jessica Schilder. 27 years old. She is the world #1 this year. She's the reigning world champion from Tokyo last September. Only 6th in the Olympics in Paris a couple of years back. She's moved on since then. She won the Diamond League final last summer prior to Tokyo. And she's in the form of her life. And she celebrates there with another monster. And round 5 was big, but she fouled out. And with that one, well, she threw 20.52 in round 3. She's had 3 efforts prior to this beyond 20 metres, so 4 out of her 6 efforts over 20 metres, and she might have just gone. She has 20.73. It's massive. That is way, way beyond any other European this year, and it caps her series with a glorious sheen because it is gold for her yet again. The 1-2-3, by the way, identical to the 1-2-3 2 years ago in Rome. And Alex just saying it's the all 3 medalists over 19 metres. 2002 was the last time top 5 all went over 19 metres.
Well, that was a cracking competition, but the one woman who dominated it was Jessica Schilder. And she becomes only the 2nd woman to win 3 consecutive women's shot put titles. First with the Soviet athlete, Nadezhda Chisova, back in the 1970s. Chisova indeed went on to win 4 consecutive titles. And that option is going to be there for Schilder in 2 years' time when we're off to Horzo. So Jessica Schilder becomes the very first gold medalist of this 27th edition of the European Athletics Championships. What a magnificent performance from Schilder. They'll be presented with their medals very shortly at the special medal plaza, which is just outside of the Alexander Stadium as well.
There's quite some series from Schilder. Over 21 metres already this year. We know she's got a little bit more in the tank. Those that Dutch flag being worn proudly, and the silver and bronze medals displayed, along with the gold and silver medals, I should say, along with the bronze there. Misi Mabry. All smiles. The job is done. And Van Klinken in the discus. Here, there's a question for
Sandra Elkasevich. Why not? Sandra Elkasevich deciding to take a break after, what is it, 7 consecutive titles in the discus? So it's opened it right up.
Well, the Netherlands on top of the medal table. That might be the case come the end of today with that brace, the gold and the silver.
They've got good chances in the mixed relay as well. So there is the final results from the very first final to be decided. Jessica Schilder dominating the competition, winning by more than a metre, 20.73. A big shout out for Dorinda Van Klinken with the silver at 19.64, personal best. Yemisi Mabry, the Olympic champion, but just like 2 years ago in Rome, bronze on this occasion, sending her implement out to 19.50. You can get all the results via the European Athletics website, and there's also pathways to the masses of content on the European Athletics social media channels, and you can download the app as well.
So hammer qualification and into the 3rd round here. Those logo with the shades on, the bronze medalist from 2 years ago. There's also a predictor game. While Phil's mentioning the website there, I now know that Catherine Merry is 1 up on me because I predicted a slightly different women's shot put podium. But Loga, not looking good for her. Well, yes, she's in the top 12, but this is only after 1 group. It looks like a similar sort of attempt to her 2nd round as well. Come up as 63.80. As I say, realistically, and it's still the case, around 67.50 I think will be needed, 71.50 automatically. Jakobsen and Lano of Denmark and Norway respectively at the top of this first group list.
You have to trust the seeding, don't you, Alex, that they've got equal talent in each of the 2 pools.
So, well, at least it's rather conventional as far as the throwers are concerned. Jakobsen's going to throw again here.
Okay, Jakobsen. 70.58 coming in the 2nd round. Very close to that automatic qualifying distance, 71.50. 17 Europeans have gone over that this year, but it's all about getting it right on the day, and she might have just done that. Keeping very calm, isn't there? There's no overt celebration there from Jakobsen. She is the European number 5 this year. Regularly makes major championship finals. She was 10th in the World Championships, in the Olympics rather, back in 2024, was 5th in Rome back in 2024. That was, of course, just a few weeks before the Olympic Games. 72.62. She qualifies there, does Jakobsen. And that, well, it's only some 3 metres, less than 3 metres off her lifetime best. Immediate feedback from coach.
So this is just after one group, of course, but looking good at the moment. 4 athletes over 70 metres. And among those who will certainly miss out, Laura Dondo, the 7-time Spanish champion, Michele Mori of Italy. We'll see her teammate Sara Fantini in the second group, who won the title on home soil in Rome in 2024.
The women's triple jump qualifying is about to get underway, or rather is underway, excuse me. It's been going for a little while, just checking, but we haven't had a chance to have a look at it. Here is Ivana Spanovic. Now, Spanovic, well known, big name, big championship performer. Serb, 36 years old now, and that looks okay. That looks like it's taken her out beyond the automatic qualifying distance. Qualifying distance, by the way, 14 metres 15. And I think with her opening effort there, she's done enough. She has 14.21. Nice following wind, plus 1.2 behind her. And job done. And into the final. She's a wonderfully symmetrical, balanced, powerful performer. Whether it's long jump or triple jump, she is quite supreme. One of the all-time greats in the long jump, but now very much focused on this. She was world long jump champion, world junior long jump champion, I should say, back in 2008. She's been around a long, long time. I mean, that's 18 years ago. She's still holding that focus to be a world-class athlete. That is quite something. Now, there's a familiar face. It is Jakob Ingebrigtsen, of course. I was talking to his agent at lunchtime, and I said, how many weeks of decent training has he really got behind him? And he said, about 6. Jimmy Gressier, the world 10,000 metres final, that men's 5,000 final coming up this evening. That will be at 8:40 local time here in Birmingham, England. And one of the big questions for me is why there weren't heats in the 5,000. There's 23 starters. It's a huge field in the men's 5,000 metres final. That gets underway, as I say. Mark your cards at 8:40, so in just over half an hour's time. Well, 3 semi-finals of the women's 100 metres coming up now. The qualifying from these is 2 go through automatically from each heat, the first 2, plus 2 non-automatic qualifiers. And with the wind swirling this morning, that was a somewhat controversial issue. Gina Lückenkemper, European champion back in 2022, just 4 years ago, took gold in Munich in front of the home crowd, took relay gold as well. Dina Asher-Smith, she's the defending champion. This is a pretty packed semi-final, I have to say. Former world junior champion Dina Asher-Smith, back in 2014 she won the world junior title on the World European 200 in 2016. Tatiana Pinto goes in lane 4. Salome Cora of Switzerland in 5. Then Patricia van der Weken of Luxembourg in 6. Her lifetime best 11 seconds exactly. Amy Hunt in very good form. The Charnwood athlete, relatively local to Birmingham. 10.97 she's run this year. She's in super form. Of course, the World Championship silver medalist at 200 last year. Kristina Szymanowska of Poland goes in lane 8. And then on the left-hand side, as you look at the 8 athletes, in lane 9 is Lotta Kempinen of Finland. She's an 11.25 athlete this year. But this is well, some people would look at this heat and this semi and say it's a little bit lopsided with Lückenkemper and Asher-Smith and Amy Hunt. And Van der Weken is no slouch either. European indoor medalist at indoors last year in Apeldoorn. But it's pretty unforgiving qualifying for the final later on tonight. It's the last event of the evening at 9:50. So in an hour and 40 minutes. Asher Smith in 3. Hunt in 7. Away they get, okay. Good start there from Asher Smith. Right a picture. Asher Smith looking really good. Also going well, Van der Weyken, but here comes Amy Hunt all the way through to the front of the field, and Asher Smith run back into 3rd place behind Van der Weyken, who was sort of dragged through, it seemed, with Amy Hunt. We knew Amy Hunt would come through late. She's a better 200-metre runner than she is at 100. At least that's been her record so far, although she's improving at 100 all the time. 10.99 with a very nice, friendly, user-friendly win there, 1 metre per second behind her. And Amy Hunt easing through from 3rd to 2nd to 1st over the last 30 metres. And Dina Asher-Smith there in that first semi-final, run out of the automatic qualifying spot. She is the reigning champion, 11.10. Nervous 20 minutes or so for her coming up.
Well, well, Amy Hunt's fast finish is becoming her trademark. That's just her 3rd time ever sub 11 seconds, and it's 200s faster than she was in this very stadium a couple of months ago at those UK Championships, beating Dina Asher-Smith to the UK title. Asher-Smith 11.10 in the end in that 3rd spot. Patricia Van der Weyken maybe not having the best season of her career so far. I mean, she's for a couple of years now been really knocking on the door of going sub 11, but Amy Hunt certainly started this outdoor season looking stronger over the 100. Up for debate now as she doubles up here again, along with Dina Asher-Smith. But yes, what a way to start off the semi-final, a super stacked semi-final.
It was, wasn't it, when the reigning champion has a pretty solid run and finished in 3rd place. They're in the hot seat now, Asher-Smith and Cora of Switzerland. Cora there 11.12, very close to her season's best in 4th place.
So now, switching over to the triple jump qualifiers, which has been going on. Well, that women's shot put final has been concluded. Jonna Masson, best European triple jumpers this year with 14.52. Looks like a good effort from Masson. Automatic qualifiers time mark is 14.15. She's one and done, as they like to say. Chopped her stride very slightly just to make sure she got good placement on the board. You can see it. Very nice square on the board. Executed the 3 phases very well. Masson's made a big improvement this year. She's really come of age in 2026. Nicely done. Daria Derkach, another of the leading triple jumpers. Italian. Championship record Derkach. In this list this year, led by Ion of Romania. 14.56, Derkach close to it. She's 3rd on the European list this year. That's again 2 groups operating side by side. Really good second phase there, the step phase. It's around the 14.40 mark, as you can see from the indicators. See there, 14.42. Drifts over rather too much over to the right side of the runway, but manages to recover. Recovers very well indeed. Recuperated a little bit earlier. No problems for Derkach and Masson getting over the automatic qualifying mark.
Well, this is not quite as stacked as the first semi-final, I feel, in which you had the athletes who'd won, in fact, the last 3 European titles, if you include Dina Asher-Smith doing so twice in between Gina Lukenkemper. Here we're looking at the European leader with the blue bib. Said somewhat surprised. You have to be careful using the word surprise in athletics. As always, someone will say, oh, well, I've seen the work in training, but 10.96 for Letizia Frey of Switzerland, improving from 11.09 last year. Interestingly, though, obviously people will be familiar with Machinga Kambunji, but the top 12 women in Swiss history over 100 metres are all active athletes, which really says something about the current generation. And sometimes you wonder whether an athlete is going to back up that fastest time, and Letizia Frey had already run 10.98 a couple of weeks before. Zeynab Dosso, the world indoor champion, completing the set of medals there, but seemingly stronger over the 60 metres, always gets a good start. Imani Lansico coming off the back of her best ever individual performance after being such an important member of Great Britain's relay quartet. And you could say the same about Daryl Nita regarding the latter. Her best individually at the Europeans was her 200-metre silver medal, but it really feels though a gold was so close to her grasp, both in Munich and in Rome. And in that respect, she really does have to sharpen up in these latter rounds. So coming in fresh to these semi-finals is Daryl Nita, 5 times a European medalist. Rani Rosius, European indoor and world indoor finalist. Imani Lansico, what can she do to take some momentum off the Commonwealth Games? Zeynab Dosso, 2 times a European bronze medalist, national record 11.01. Rebecca Haase having a great season at the age of 33, 11.04 this year. And Letizia Frey, a little bit of pressure on her, but just interested to see how she runs here in the semi-final. Maria Isabel Perez of Spain, 11.07 at best, and then Kira Neville, they remember, won a World Under-20 silver medal in the relay back in 2018. That was great for Irish sprinting to see that breakthrough. 2018, the season when Dina Asher-Smith won that European hat-trick. 6 times a European champion, including 4 times individually, but she's waiting to see if 11.10 will be good enough. Nita, Rosius, Lansico, Dosso, Haase, Letizia Frey, Perez and Neville in the second semi-final of the women's 100 metres. Dosso again gets that trademark brilliant start, but Letizia Frey in the red and black of Switzerland looking brilliant here. Dosso still in second, Lansico trying to chase, but Letizia Frey on top. 11.02 here, that's exactly what she wanted. And she's proven herself, bookmarking the spot through to the final. So Amy Hunt, Patricia van der Weken, of course, already there. 10.99 from Hunt remains the fastest time, the exact same time that the 2 gold medals over the last 2 editions have been won in. Dosso is through as well, and yes, do you know what? After watching the World Indoors, I wondered whether Dosso could come outdoors and do it here, but that victory for Letizia Frey certainly proven herself, Tim.
She certainly has, yeah. Plus 1.1 the wind there, so not much different to the first heat, but we can confirm that at the moment the first 4 from the first heat are still going through. So Asher-Smith and Cora of Great Britain and Switzerland respectively. Lovely run that from the Swiss there in lane 7 in the red. Very strong through the second half. High knees from her. And Lansico, well, like her compatriot Dina Asher-Smith, 3rd in her semi, but doesn't go through there. Unfortunately, Lansico, you can see there 3rd from right. She does come through strongly in the second half. Unfortunately, Daryl Nita, right of picture there, is some way off a qualifying spot. But it looks like it's going to be a very, very tight final indeed. And there's a semi to come yet.
Yes, absolutely. So between 10.99 and 11.03, those were the times of the medalists. 2 years ago. It was just as close, if not closer, in 2022. They're separated by 0.01, in fact, in 2022. So really whetting the appetite for what could be to come in the final later on this evening. And to be honest, Tim, when you look at the third semi-final, perhaps Eva Svoboda is the only big hitter there. So Dina Asher-Smith may well find, perhaps along with Salome Cora, that she will make it through to the final, even if it is only just.
Well, yeah, I said that there could be 20 minutes of big nerves for the athletes in the hot seats, and Dina Asher-Smith and the fourth place in that first heat, Salome Cora of Switzerland, are those athletes under pressure.
Back to the triple jump. This is Wittmann of Germany. Kira Wittmann. 14-14, so needs to improve on a personal best to get an automatic qualifier, and I think she might have done that. It looks as though it was the best jump of her life for the young German. Time to do it as well. It was a bit nonplussed, nevertheless. Excellent final phase, really good leap, lots of height there as well. 14.26 it is confirmed as a personal best for Kira Wittmann. Hugs all round, and why not? Personal best came when winning the German title just 3 weeks ago, so in a fine vein of form. 26 years of age. Last European indoors in Apeldoorn. She'll be making the final here in Birmingham. Also got the mixed relay coming up as the penultimate final tonight, just preceding the women's 100 metres final. Paper, it looks like a very, very open contest.
Is that practicing for maybe fumbling with the baton? Do you think? I mean, it's an interesting one. I haven't seen that before. It's about reactions.
I was going to say that.
Traditional.
So looking out there, no Femke Bol. That's pretty much confirmed. We didn't think that she was going to take part in the mixed relay final. The Dutch, of course, the European record holders.
Lieke Klaver's part of their pool of athletes that they could select. We know Belgium are always strong.
Well, the athletes lined up and pretty much ready by the looks of things for the third semi-final of the women's 100 metres. The home straight stand, by the way, has got thousands of spectators in it, but of course we hardly ever see it in these pictures. There's quite a few thousand in the arena. Svoboda, in the red and white there, right in the centre for Poland. Very quick starter, 20 times the Polish champion. There she is, Eva Svoboda. European Championship silver medalist a couple of years ago in Rome, behind Dina Asher-Smith. She will have been very disappointed, I suspect, in front of the home crowd back in March to finish only 6th at the World Indoors in Torun, and you know, she is a fast starter. That is her territory, the indoor 60 metres. She will have been gutted not to get onto the rostrum there. The Czechia athlete, Karolina Manasova, she goes in lane 7. She set a national record this year of 11.01, breaking the 45-year-old record of Jarmila Kratochvilova, who of course still holds that elusive world record for 800 metres. Can it go this week? That being one of the highlights of the middle distance action here in Birmingham. Christianania, excuse me, the Austrian Williams goes in lane 4. Agent transferee from Jamaica, Williams in 4. Let's have a look at the full field though. Here's Arealis Gandula Martinez. She's a former Cuban, 31 years old now, 11.25 this year. Her husband, by the way, is the Olympic and world champion triple jumper, Pedro Pablo Pichado. In 3, Natasha Cooney, third in the Swiss championships this year. There's the Austrian Christiania Williams. Set an Austrian record at 11.06 just recently at the Bankster Bystrica meeting. There's Svoboda, big cheer for her. World Indoor silver medalist back in 2024 in Glasgow. Watch her at the start. She goes in 5. That's Nkanza, Delphine Nkanza of Belgium. She's in 6. Belgian champion at 1 and 2 this year. The Czechia athlete, Manasova, goes in 7. We've seen her with that new national record, 11.01. She could be a real threat here. Takac, Boglaka, Takac of Hungary goes in lane 8. 17 times their champion. She too, 100-200 double in the Hungarian Championships just recently. She's a serial semi-finalist, Takac. And there's Gloria Hooper, we just saw in lane 9 for Italy. On the far side, on the outside, and effectively set a personal best in her heat this morning. Gloria Hooper actually equalled her 5-year-old personal best. She had a super run this morning. I don't know if she can match it here. This looks like it'll be a pretty tight one. Look for Svoboda right in the middle in lane 5 to come out of the blocks really quickly. But she so often gets hunted down. Gandula in 2, Cooney in 3, Williams in 4, Svoboda goes in 5, there she is, and Nkanza of Belgium in 6, Manasova, Czechia 7, Takac, Hungary 8, Hooper to the left, nearest the camera, in 9 for Italy. Good start there from Nkanza, but here comes Svoboda. She's running really beautifully at the moment. She's running away with this number. She's not being chased down this time. She's going to win by a metre there from the Belgian Nkanza. They're the 1 and 2. They go through, okay, 11.03. It was pretty close behind them. Certainly, Svoboda of Poland and Nkanza of Belgium have gone through. But let's have a look at the result of this third semi-final. It's going to be tight, there's no doubt about that. Takac, it's going to be a photo. It hasn't come through yet the time for the third placer. Remember, we're looking at the fourth place at Cora from the first semi, 11.12, and Takac 11.20, so they're both good. The third and fourth places in the first semi will go through. Asher Smith of Great Britain and Cora of Switzerland make it through to the final. And that final, just a quick reminder for you, was at 9:50 local time. It's in an hour and 25 minutes from now. Well, the Czechia athlete there, Manasova, not living up to expectations, Pap, in some respects. She was in lane 7, and Manasova finishing down in 5th place in 11.30. She'll be disappointed with that, with an 11.01 in recent weeks, that national record.
Well, I think justice served there in the end, given that the 4 athletes go through from that best of all semi-final, the most stacked of all semi-final, and I think Dina Asher-Smith will be very pleased with that. Salome Cora was jumping for delight as we see the replay here. Svoboda coming through strongly. Another who's, yeah, you mentioned she's been unlucky in the past at times. She did win 2019 European Indoor 60-metre gold, and as someone's been thought of as stronger over the 60 metres, but yeah, 5 times European medalist indoors and out. Close a couple of years ago with a silver, and also a relay silver in Munich, but would dearly love a gold. But yes, I'm not quite sure it's there for her, having seen once already. That said, in Zagreb in June, 10.98, and that is, of course, faster than Amy Hunt's run here in this semi-final, and just 1/100th of what Hunt has run as a personal best in Stockholm. And, well, I think the athletes like it to have a couple of rounds, semi-final, then a final. Pretty much keeps you ready, keeps the muscles intact and able to go for that final. Nice little warm-up there.
Exactly the same time given to Svoboda and Nkanza for Poland and Belgium respectively. Takac just missing out there, as do the rest of them from that third semi-final. But place your bets. Very, very tightly matched. The 8 finalists in that women's 100 coming up.
So Saraceni, she's been in a great vein of form recently. Saraceni proved a personal best. It's 14.44. Didn't quite get it together with the first effort, but that time she did. That's a great effort from her. It's around personal best distance. She's delighted, quite rightly so. Really quick on the run-up. Strong phases, no drifting to either side of the runway. You see that sometimes with jumpers, even when they've done very well. No. 14.50, it's a personal best, and she's the best in the qualifiers so far. Terrific second round effort there from Erika Saraceni.
There it is, Amy Hunt, the fastest of all of them, under 11 seconds, and Tizio Frey could be a real threat there. The new name for the Swiss. Coming up the men's 5,000 metres, that's in, about 10 or 11 minutes' time. There is the man with a question mark over his name. He is the reigning champion. Of course, it's Jakob Ingebrigtsen, man who loves to tease his fans and middle and long distance racing fans all over the world. Achilles surgery in early February in California, but back into good form, we're hearing.
Nice to see the close-up of the medals there that we have seen our women's shot putters get. So Leonardo Fabri hoping to retain his title. Scott Lincoln hoping to follow up with his Commonwealth bronze medal.
Victor Pettersson, European Indoor Championships silver medalist in Apeldoorn last year. Nick Ponzio, several times in the final of the World Indoor Championships.
Yes, on to Eric Meyerhofer, won the last 3 German titles. And then the European Indoor Champion in Appleton last year, Andre Toda.
Into the final is the 12th man, Irish record holder Eric Flavers. And the European Indoor Champion back in 2017 when he was a teenager, Konrad Bukowiecki.
Seen as the closest challenger to his training partner Fabri, Zane Weir of Italy. And the veteran Thomas Staniak, 5 times European indoor medalist.
Arvin Sinasevic struggled in qualifying but finally got it together to make the final. European Championship silver medalist in 2022 and completing the 12-man lineup. World Under-18 Championship silver medalist back in 2015 when they still had a World Under-18 Championship. Simon Mazur.
Breathing in deeply there was Leonardo Fabri. Well, we've seen him look supreme on occasion, but there's been 1 or 2 hiccups as well. He mentioned it was a bit of a technical breakdown at the European Indoors, didn't make the final there. Disappointment for him at the World Indoors earlier this year in Torun. However, the reigning champion, the European leader, 1 metre 32 ahead of the next in Europe this year, Zane Weir, as mentioned. They are both training partners. What can Fabri do in the opening round? Can he really establish good distance like Schilder did? Yes, he can. Looks to be over 21 metres here. So already throwing down the gauntlet. Looks really agile and balanced there. Nice clean attempt, punching a hole in the turf there. 21.36 for Fabri in the opening round, and he knows that there's still more he can improve on. More to come.
Yes, very much so. Next into the circle will be the very popular Briton, Scott Lincoln. Hails from Northallerton in Yorkshire. Occasions in the past he's been the Great Britain team captain. Affable character, twice in the top 8 at the World Championships. Not a bad effort at all as an opener from Scott Lincoln. Shy of the 21-metre mark, but a good opener from the Briton. He's been so close to medals on previous occasions. Took the Commonwealth Games bronze just a couple of weeks ago. 2040, very useful opener from Lincoln.
Yes, so those Commonwealth Games medals both coming on UK soil, I guess, and look where we are again here in Birmingham. So Victor Pettersson here. Well, the Swedish contingent in the women's event battle for the medals. Axel Hansen a little bit disappointing, and Van der Oors closer. Pettersson, European indoor silver behind Toda last year. 21.38 this season. That was in Gothenburg in February. Here's the national record holder as well. That was in Vecchio during last year's indoor season. So Fabry leading 21.36. Pedersen slotting into second, as you can see, 20.44.
Ponzio. Personal best at 21.83. Can reach those sort of distances. A medal could be his, but that came 4 years ago. Has gone over 21 metres though this year indoors. Outdoors, I think he's been a bit more erratic. Oh, that's a good effort. That's very close to the 21 metre mark. Ponzio, I think that's a best outdoors this year, summer 2076.
More.
He's got a bit further at the Italian Championships a couple of weeks ago when he went out to 2086. But a good opener for Ponzio.
Well, Eric Mayhoff is something of an underdog here, but he is an improver this year. 20.63 for a new personal best in Stuttgart in June. Let's see how he does in this opening round. He won the last 3 German titles. A European under-23 silver medalist 3 years ago as well. He's actually improved by 85 centimetres since the start of 2025. A nation with great pedigree in this event, of course. David Stoll was the last German champion in this particular event.
So Andre Toda, reigning European indoor champion, something of a surprise winner in Appledon, it has to be said. He got it right and sent the shot out to 21.27 on that occasion, just 2 centimetres shy of his personal best. And that's a good effort as well. Another good 20-metre opener from Toda. Struggled a little bit in qualifying, didn't get over 20 metres this morning. It's well over 20 metres now. 20.44 for Toda. So he moves up to equal third place at the moment, along with Victor Pettersson.
Well, it is time for the event that is the meeting ground of middle distance and long distance, the 5,000 metres. 12.5 laps of the track. In the old days, it used to be 3 miles. That was just over 12 laps. Well, that extra half lap can make quite a difference. And here are the main men. Dominic Lobalu of Switzerland. He's a real danger. He's in fabulous form. He's peaked nicely for this one. He won a 5,000 in Monaco on the 10th of July, just a month ago. And he's in fabulous form, is Lobalu, the European 10,000 metre champion from 2024. Jimmy Gressier, too. Watch him, the world 10,000 metres champion from last year. Took a bronze in the 5,000. He's a very fast finisher. Is the Liverpool fan, Jimmy Gressier of France. Yeah, you heard me right. His best 12.57 this year. But so many eyes are focused upon this man, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, the defending champion from Rome 2 years ago. He had Achilles surgery in California in early February after chronic problems. It was the sheath of his left Achilles actually that was operated on. Apparently, and I've had a couple of people say this to me, his Achilles was fine, it was the sheath that was causing problems. That was operated on. He's had problems on it since early 24. The right Achilles hasn't been perfect either. But he tried to get fit for Tokyo last year and against the likelihood. He went down the heats of the 5,000, of the 1,500, was 10th in the 5,000. Jimmy Gressier, though, he disappointed a lot of people with, by his standards, a poor run at the Paris Diamond League a couple of months back. Has he found his better form? He hasn't raced since then. That was ages ago in high summer terms. Lobalu, well, he is full of confidence there, I'm sure. He was 4th in the Olympic 5,000 back in 2024, originally from southern Sudan, fled to Kenya, competed for the athlete refugee team from 2017, and then decided to stay in Switzerland after competing in Geneva 2019, and he is a proud Swiss citizen now, the 27-year-old Labalu. Gressier, well, will the Jimmy Gressier we became more familiar with last year go well here tonight? He won the Diamond League final 3,000 metres last year. Brian Fay of Ireland, he's a 13:01 performer, is the 27-year-old Irish record holder back in 2023. Labalu, strong and fast and a good racing brain, importantly. That is critical at this standard. And in a championship race like this without pacemakers, the fast finish of Jimmy Gressier could be absolutely critical. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, well, he holds the world record for a mile indoors, for 2,000 metres, for 2 miles. He is fantastically strong, but with only 6 weeks good training behind him, will he have done enough to claw his way back up to world-class fitness? There is James West, the only Briton in this one, coached by Helen Clitheroe, former European indoor champion at 3,000. Good speed and strength, James West. Nick Griggs, 9th in the world indoor 3,000 back in March. He was 6th in the Commonwealth Games 5,000 just a couple of weeks ago, running for Northern Ireland. He's coached by Mark Kirk, an old mate of mine from Northern Ireland, who was a great 800-metre runner. Let's have a look at the rest of them. Conjona Maggi of Italy is in there. He's a 13:24 performer, though he might be under pressure here. Florian Brem of Germany, left a picture in the yellow. Watch him. 12:56 he ran to win in Turku on the 3rd of June. Now, that was a few weeks ago, but it was a massive improvement from 13:09. I watched that race and he was mighty impressive. Philip Ingebrigtsen is out there too, former European champion at 1,500 metres. Is he going to help his brother here? Will there be some teamwork? He and the other brother, the other Ingebrigtsen brother, Henrik, coach Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And then we get to the athletes to the right there. For Bandit, well, he could be a problem. The Dutchman, great range. He's run 3:32 and 27:17 for 10,000 metres. There's the medals that 3 lucky men will come home to in about 14 minutes' time. Dara McElhinney of Ireland, watch him, former European junior bronze medalist at 5,000. So away they go. Jakob Ingebrigtsen takes a quick glance at his watch there. Jimmy Gressier slots in behind Ingebrigtsen there, sort of... there they are, top of the picture now in the red and white of France is Jimmy Gressier. He's a great racer, Gressier. He's really progressed nicely. He found his first big victories on the cross-country circuit at age group level in the European cross-country, but then he's become a massive star on the track as well. And a smart racer. So many of these fellas have got world-class ability at 1,500 metres and 5,000 and 10,000. It's a different world, Alex, from 10 or 15 years ago.
100%, and looks like Simos Batasius, who's leading them out there, who's front runner and won at the European Team Championships over 1,500 metres. On the questions, I mean, we've been asking it, what is the sharpness like of Jakob Ingebrigtsen? It's a mystery to find out. But another question is, how much is he in the minds of the other athletes? Sometimes talked about in the past, the Mo Farah effect. We definitely talked about that 2 years ago in Rome, when we weren't sure who actually had the belief that they could beat Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And even if he isn't sharp, he's still sharp up top. He's got that great tactical brain, he's got that pedigree, and it's interesting to see who actually knows that they should push early on to really test him, rather than leaving it to be too tactical a race that he could later control.
63.9 that first lap. It's 13:20 pace. Jakob Ingebrigtsen hasn't raced since the 21st of September when he was 10th in that World Championship 5,000 metres. He's 5th from the left there, right at the back of the field, along with Gressier. All that, and his brother Philip there is 3rd from the back as well.
Zane Weir in this men's shot put final then. We've already seen Fabry set out his stall, and another looks to be over 21 metres. And Weir, who on occasion is another who's blown hot and cold, but look at that, the tap of the chest there between the two Italians. Ponzio, his other teammate. I think that teammates push each other on. Look how many contingents there were in the women's shot put final. A 1-2 for the Dutch women and a 1-2 for the Italian men as things stand here. And a chance of a clean sweep because Ponzio looking good as well.
Well, the Italian trio have actually trained together on many occasions. Weir and Fabry have often used the same coach. 2:11 at 800 metres. That second lap was about a 66. It was much slower than the opener of 64.
The Finn Aikala moving down the outside there, maybe hoping to inject a little bit of respectability to this. Lobalu in the red of Switzerland, tucked in there in 5th place. The Briton James West in 4th at the moment, covering everything. The big name is towards the back, just letting these early laps click by. You've got to remember that Jakob Ingebrigtsen, it's not that long ago that he set a world record for 1,500 metres, on the way to setting a world record for the mile indoors. Here's a supreme middle distance racer. Josh Kerr enjoying the limelight at the moment after that world record at the mile in London, some 3 weeks ago. But it's Ingebrigtsen that, if he can get fully fit, will set tracks alight up against Josh Kerr if we can get them to race each other. The first kilometre, well, it's very slow indeed. 2:45. That's 13:45 pace.
Well, Leonardo Fabri going into the circle. 21:36 leads the way at the moment. Seen Zane Weir put a bit of pressure on. Also going over 21 metres. Italy 1 and 2 at this early stage of the competition. Start of the second round, and it's a huge effort from Fabri. Takes the applause. Says, look, here I am. I wonder if we're going to get some of his singing if he wins, like he did in Rome. Wonderful exponent of light opera, and he's really making everybody else dance to his tune tonight in the men's shot put. Let's have a look at it again. Everything clicked together there. Wasn't a 22-metre put. That really has laid down the gauntlet to the rest of the men. 21:78.
So Scott Lincoln finished 4th at the World Indoors and the European Outdoors and Indoors, does not want to be in that position again. However, it is always so close, and those medal spots really have to be earned at European level, particularly when the Italian trio is so strong. But Scott Lincoln so consistently over 20 metres. And he is in that 3rd spot, 20.81. So 5 centimetres ahead of Ponzio.
.421 at 1,600 metres. They have just run a 64. It's beginning to become a little bit more respectable, and that's why they're in single file now. 23 men there. Look at that, strung out. There's probably about 25-30 metres between the front and the back of this field, but nobody worrying yet. Nobody yet has got the bull by the horns. And Alex, there's a bit of breeze around the stadium, but actually it is a lovely night. It's gorgeous temperature for middle distance and long distance racing, and I would love to see somebody set this alight by kicking away or start making them work for it.
Well, interesting you say that, because Tuomas Heikkilä, who's leading the way at the moment, he actually broke away at the Finnish Championships, a man who has a background in orienteering, to do the double, 5,000 and 10,000 metres, surprising many to win that title. And it was said at the time that his spirit in those national championship races was very much needed. And looks like he's looking up at the big screen. He's very conscious of his position, but he's very happy to do the hard work at the moment with 7 to go.
Yeah, he is. They continue to lap here in, well, what a modest time for most of this field. That 5th lap, 64.99, 2005.26. So they're on about 13:35 pace. It is very slow, and I suspect Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and we'll talk about him because he is the big enigma in this race, towards the back of the field. I suspect he's quite happy about this first half being slow. If anybody was going to test his fitness, they'd need to make this first half of the race quicker. And as I say that, he must have been listening. Lobalu has hit the front. Now he's the first of the big names to really show his cards, and he's probably decided, right, enough is enough. 2,000 metres there. We're getting through to 2005.26. This is becoming a dawdler. Don't put in those weeks, those months of tremendously hard training to jog round for 6 or 8 laps, and now the racing is underway in earnest. Lobalu has hit the front for half a lap or so, and this will cause a little bit more of a panic back in the pack, Alex, and that's what can become tiring. And there's pushing and shoving, and you're jostling for position, and if you're right at the back and somebody kicks hard off the front and they're 30 metres ahead of you, you've got some work to do.
Yeah, so we were looking out for Lobalu and Gressier in particular, because they're the ones that they've shown that they can live at times with Ingebrigtsen's pace. And Lobalu, of course, European 10,000 metre champion 2 years ago and 5,000 metre bronze medalist, has a 1,500 PB of 3:34, and also did the Berlin Half Marathon in Mark, so he has good range, and he's looking to win this 5,000 title for the first time. Looks to be doing both events here as well, and you just wondered how conscious he'd be of his position, but at the moment, very happy to lead on out front. You can see Brian Fay is still there near the sharp end of the pack, and Hakeler hasn't dropped back too much either, but working his way through gradually has been Jimmy Gressier.
Yeah, Gressier recognised the danger, very smart. He's up in about 7th or 8th place now. Brem of Germany. Now there's a new name, Florian Brem. He is 25 years old, but in Turku, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of months back he ran a super fast 12.56. The most significant about that was he improved from 13.09 to 12.56. It was an 11-second improvement. Pinto there getting a little clatter mid-race. They're gone through 3,000 metres now, and that 3,000 metres time 8.07, but the running is becoming a little bit more significant now, and this is going to be a hard run from home. I'm delighted Labalu has done this. It hasn't become a miler's race. It looks like now, as long as Labalu keeps his head down, because they're bunching behind him, which suggests he hasn't really started asking questions, but I'd like to see this become a test of strength now over this final mile.
Well, Gressier perhaps becomes the big dangerman once you've done what he did at the World Championship last year and come through for 10,000 goal. You can pretty much do anything. Look at Pinto just further behind, a 1:45 800-metre runner, a personal best last year, and he's only done 3 5,000 races, according to his World Athletics profile coming into this.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen moving up round the outside. He was towards the back of the field, and it's 4 across there, 4 abreast as they ease around this bend with just over 4 laps to run. Ingebrigtsen just under 4 laps to run, I should say. Ingebrigtsen moving right round the outside there in the red, in about 8th place at the moment, and this is ridiculous. I must admit, I'm determined in my thought that 23 is too many in a 5,000 metre championship 5,000 without pacemakers. At least when you have pacemakers, it's strung out and it's a little bit tidier. But with 23 in a 5,000, look at that pack up front. About 15 or 16 athletes covered by, well, a very long, big blanket. It's tight.
Yes, and suddenly I think Jakob Ingebrigtsen can sniff the opportunity, and if he's looking round with a couple of laps to go, surely he'll feel confident enough to do that classic long wind up for home. But Gressier is going to say, oh no you don't. Look, just gesturing towards one another.
3 laps to go, and they come through this time in the big pair side by side. Jakob Ingebrigtsen has hit the front for about 150 metres, having languished at the back of the field through the first half. Jimmy Gressier, the reigning world champion at 10,000 metres, and that white vest of France on his shoulder. They're glancing around each other. It's still a game of cat and mouse. Britain's James West there in the white vest in about 8th place on the outside. Labalu down the outside, moving really well. The reigning European champion from Rome 2 years ago at 10,000 metres. This is fascinating. Nobody has really put their foot down yet and hit big acceleration as they go through 4K now. 10.48, that one at 2.41, still not quick.
Pinto just about staying on his feet. Ingebrigtsen not giving him any room at the moment. I think he was just saying to Gressier, hold back, don't go at the moment. Well, Gressier's going to do what he wants.
Well, Jakob Ingebrigtsen of old, I think, would have stayed at the front now. Gressier's hit the front, and they've got him walled in now. Labalu there holding Jakob Ingebrigtsen into 3rd place. The other Norwegian, Mira, not as much known about him, but he's giving a good account of himself at the moment. McElhinney down the outside with Griggs, those green Irish vests very much up there at the moment. Pinto boxed on the inside in about 5th place. As you mentioned, great 800 metre speed from him, and this is turning into a slower race than I would have liked as they go into the back straight for the penultimate time. Gressier winding up, and he has got a heck of a kick on him. Can they get in front of him here? Labalu in 2nd, Jakob Ingebrigtsen in 3rd. Still looking good. When you remember this is his first race since September, he's giving a good account of himself. And Brem, you have to respect that German vest. He can finish fast.
Yes, especially after that recent personal best, and he's a 3:37 1500 runner. He won the German indoor 3,000 title as well. We haven't seen too much of him, but he appears there on the outside in that bright vest. Labalu still there on the outside, has a clean run through, as does Gressier out front. Ingebrigtsen a little bit tucked in now as Brem makes a move.
They come to the bell this time. 400 metres to run. Jimmy Gressier leads. Brehm of Germany in second. Jakob Ingebrigtsen in third, the defending champion. Can he pull one out of the bag here? Coming back from surgery in February. Labalu, the European 10,000 metre champion in the red of Switzerland in fourth. Dagino of France making a big move there down the outside up into the top 4 or 5. Look too for Adi Ali back in the orange of the Netherlands there. Jimmy Gressier controlling this one. He's run a really smart race these last 3 or 4 laps. He knows he's got the speed to keep this field at bay. Has Brehm got the legs there? Has Jakob Ingebrigtsen? He has to give Brehm a little shove in the back there as the German leans in. But it's down to these 4 now, surely. It's Labalu in the red of Switzerland. Hasn't got the speed. Gressier, yet another little glance over his shoulder. Kicks for home now. It's top speed. And Brehm on the shoulder of Gressier. And look at Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Has he got the legs? I think he has. This is astonishing. It's miraculous. Ingebrigtsen retains his goal. Oh my word. He fooled them all. Absolutely incredible. He is back with a massive capital B. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, not back from the dead, but back from the depths to become European champion once more at 5,000 metres. And the best of the world over this last year or so, defeated by this man who hasn't raced for something like 10 months. Unbelievable. Goodness me, he is the real deal, this fella. Why did we ever doubt him? 13:15 the winning time, all the hard running coming in that final kilometre. Brehm, a brilliant silver for Germany. Dagino, look, getting ahead of his compatriot by a couple of tenths of a second to take the bronze. And Mira making it 2 Norwegians in the first 5. But Jakob Ingebrigtsen, boy, oh boy, 6 weeks decent training behind him. That's what his manager, Daniel Westfeld, told me at lunchtime today at a little celebration of Jack Buckner's win 40 years ago. And his record stays in place, by the way, his championship record. Wow.
Well, Jakob Ingebrigtsen stayed in the game and he played an ace card at the end. And it looked like they were pushing out initially. The underdogs like Batasius and Hakeler leading the way out, but it became slow. Labalu at the front, we thought one of the big challenges here, unable to do it, and who would have bet on that? Dagino finishes ahead of Gressier, the world 10,000 champion, because he was in it. And that big line-astern burn-up over the last couple of laps. What an extraordinary race, and it means Ingebrigtsen, of course, 4 times in a row, so doing one more than Mo Farah did between 2010 and 2014. What an extraordinary performance, keeping up his incredible record at the European Championships.
It's the 7th European gold. Look at this, Jakob Ingebrigtsen there. You maybe think he looks a little bit tired, but he knows what he's doing. Brehm kicks out. Gressier in the front probably thought he had this. People don't come past me. Well, they do, I'm afraid. And in particular, the figure of Jakob Ingebrigtsen. His 7th European Championship gold medal. This is the man who, at the age of 17, back in 2018 in Berlin, won European titles at 1,500 and 5,000. He is, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, an absolute freak of nature. It's astonishing what he can churn out. And some people have even said over this last year or so, Alex, when he's been down and out with injuries, maybe he's had his time. Well, he's only 25, and his time is starting afresh.
They'd love to say that. They'd love to say that over 1,500 metres as well, but 5,000 for him, that's where his kingdom has lied. And that's, of course, 14 European gold medals if you include indoors as well.
And cross-country?
Exactly,
cross-country.
Alex,
You're the stato here. How many with his cross-country titles? Does he have loads
22,
of those?
including cross-country.
Only the 22. He'll get to 3 figures before he finishes at this rate. That is fantastic. I'm so pleased for him. So pleased for him. I mean, you have to remember too that when you say he's got 6 weeks great training in, he's also done a lot of work on the bike and other conditioning work, I'm sure. There it is, confirmation of the win for Jakob Ingebrigtsen, 13:15.29, ahead of Florian Brehm of Germany. A bronze for Etienne Dagino of France there. But Jakob Ingebrigtsen retains his 5,000 metres title, the 4th on the trot. I mean, it is, I said it was miraculous, and I still believe it. That is incredible.
Well, what a privilege to watch that. And men's shot put still ongoing here, 3rd round.
Yes, Leonardo Fabri. He's got the lead. He's got to be in the lead with that 2nd round, 21.78. Nearest challenger is compatriot Zane Weir at 21.12. Oh, that's a huge effort from Fabry. That's over 22 metres without a shadow of a doubt. Well, just in the same way Jessica Schilder dominated the women's shot put earlier, Leonardo Fabry is laying down the law in the men's shot put. 22-31. How are you going to match that? He is leading by no less than 1 metre and 29 centimetres. 19 centimetres. Let's give the rest a chance. Well, there you go. Fabry leading the way. He was the first man to throw in that third round. The rest to follow him. How they can do that, I'm not quite sure.
Well, just had time to catch our breath from that fantastic distance race, and now the heats of the steeplechase begin. Got the hurdles out there quite quickly. So it'll be the first 8 in each of these 2 heats that go through to the final. Do you know, that 5,000 metre final was so exciting that Hannah England threw a piece of paper at us across the commentary box.
Could have been worse. There's a brick
Yes,
behind her.
I wondered if it was a troublemaker, but it was just Hannah England. All good. So yes, top 8 going through. We're having a look at some of the athletes here. Marta Serrano, coached by her father Antonio, great marathon runner. Renoir of France. We will see the European record holder Alice Finot coming up in the second heat. Alpha Cohen of Israel there.
Estonia at 8, it's Laura Marsic. At 7 for Switzerland, Shirley Lang.
As you'd expect when there are 2 steeplechases, strong fields in each, but relatively straightforward qualifications. Sarah Tate, who competed on home soil at the Commonwealth Games, was just happy to get on the start line, and she's only had a little bit more time in order to recover that fitness, so interesting to see how this plays out for her.
And on the inside for Germany, Gesa Felicitas Kraus.
And Gesa Felicitas Krauser has typically been the one to beat in Europe. 4 times a medalist, including a winner in Amsterdam 2016 and then Berlin home soil 2018. Silvers going back to 2012 and then 2 years ago. And of course, Elise Thorner got a silver at the Commonwealth Games and looked fantastic, very close to the British national record, just 1.1 seconds shy of it will go in the second heat, along with Finot. So, yeah, interesting to get a look at all these athletes. And starting off with this one, first 8 going through, championship record, by the way, held by Luisa Gega, 9:11:31, a very, very popular winner for Albania. A great crowning moment for her career. Early leader, though, here is Emilia Lilemo of Sweden in the early stages. A personal best for her came a couple of years ago to win the Swedish title, 9:28.
Here we have talking about Danis Maz, the very popular and emotional winner of the 2023 European Indoor Championships. Danis Maz fouled in the first round. It's replayed a little bit earlier while we're enjoying that really thrilling and emotional 5,000 metres final. Danis Maz, of course, family in the earthquake zone. The European Indoor Championships held in the aftermath of the Turkish earthquake in March 2023. And on the last day, she had everybody crying in the Istanbul arena. 14:23, that sees her through. So there. Well, sad, just getting in the way of the cameraman. So nice qualification for Danis Maz. Hasn't been in quite the best form this year, but that was a tiny jump. And there is Oxgag. 14:10 will be good enough to go through, especially the 14:15 qualifying mark. It's a nice qualifier as well from her. She's probably comfortable in her qualifying position just outside of the automatic qualifiers, but decided to take a third round effort. proved to be a good decision. 14.21 for the Swede. There's a recap of the qualifiers who we haven't already seen. No problems there for the former European under-20 champion.
So, it'll be interesting to see the first kilometre split coming up right about now. Here's a Krause leading Maya, her teammate, 3:10. So obviously 9:30 pace, which is reasonably comfortable for a good number of these athletes. Of course, not too many opportunities to run a fast steeplechase race, and typically not done, of course, in championship conditions.
Decent pace for a heat at the European Championships, 9:30. 8 to go through as of right to Thursday night's final. Krause doing everything right at the front, just controlling the pace. Krause has been running extremely well this year. Personal best at 9:03, the German record, which Leah Meyer's very close to at the moment, and we'll see Meyer in the alongside her. Stood since 2019, but it's being challenged. But Krause has run 9:07 this year. Very close recently in Eugene. It's the two Germans at the front controlling the pace, and now just a little bit of daylight starting to appear between the leading pair and also Flavie Renoir and the rest. Looks as though Krause has just cranked things up just a little bit. Just making the women behind them work a little bit. And there's a good 2 meters gap then between Renoir and then the Israeli record holder, Adva Cohen.
Kosonen then in this hammer qualifying. This is, of course, the B group. Opening effort from the Finn. Left-handed thrower, very, very fast. That one skims the net, but she gets away with it. Oh, and it's big. Remember the qualifying distance, 71.50. Only 2 athletes went over that from the A group earlier on. But Kosonen there looks very, very cool, doesn't she? What a cool customer she is to pump that first effort right out there. 71.50 or the top 12. There's plenty of Europeans this season have gone over 71.50. It was 72.02 there for Kosonen, former European junior champion, former world junior champion. She is a massive talent, still only 23, but that's nice. Yeah, good way to get the job done. 72.02 for Kosonen, no messing around. She is the European number 3 this year.
So coming through on the track now, 3 laps to go, and still a German 1-2 out here, but Meyer taking over from Krause. Well, that's one of the questions is, I suppose, is Felicitas Krause still capable of producing a strong title-winning performance? Age of 34, I think she is, judging by what Phil was saying. That season best in Eugene last month of 9:07, and maybe a little bit more uncertainty about Alice Finot, reigning champion. Only 9:26 this year, but not really a fully represented time, because that was to fairly comfortably win the French Championships, and she has just had 2 track races this year. As we see, yes, this continued breakaway of 3 athletes.
2 kilometres just passed through there in 6:20, so still very much on the 9:30 pace, although we do expect it to speed up during the course of the last 400-600 metres. Still very much the 2 Germans and Renoir from France in the front there. Then a bit of a gap to the group led by Adva Cohen. Cohen, 9:15 performer at best. You can see there Serrano also handily placed at the moment. And the pole for Shepper coming through as well. 8 to qualify. And at the moment, there's 9 in that breakaway group, going all the way back to Stavilla Grosso, and then a big gap back to Nygaard B. Stays like that, it could be a real battle between the 6 women behind this leading trio. Shecker, a bit of an unknown quantity for Shecker. She's come through strongly this year. we were talking about Krauser. I think the big question is not can she run fast times, but can she sprint at the end of a championship race? I've seen a couple of her races and she doesn't look quite as sharp. She's still a fantastic runner in terms of her endurance, but she doesn't look quite as sharp at the end of races as she might have been earlier in her career. Some good runners, good sprinters as well, women who've got excellent 1500 metre times coming up in the second heat as well. Still very much the leading trio as it's been for the majority of this particular heat. Maya, Krauser and Renoir, the leading trio as we go into the bell. The Shepard coming through into fourth place at the moment, starting to close down the gap.
Importantly, Gabriela Grosu making a big move. Just over 200 metres to go. And 9:37 her personal best compared to Vid. 9:23, so 15 seconds faster on paper, but the Moldovan moving through very, very nicely here and leaving Vid out to dry a little bit. Who's the Danish 5K national record holder. They're looking up at the big screen, the two Germans, and they know they're in a great position. So what can Vid do about the gap to Adva Cohen of Israel in front of her? Cohen, who was 5th in 2018 and 8th in Munich, based out in the US. You can see there, group of 4, and another 4. And let's have a look. If they all go cleanly through the water jump, that may be it for Julie Fied of Denmark. But the two Germans here, possibly giving an indication that they may have some sort of metronomic tactics come the final. Maya from Krauser and Renoir coming through nicely here. 9:32.21, so slightly slower in that final kilometre. Didn't matter, but right on the line here, that battle mattered. Vid did save something for the end, but it wasn't quite enough for the Danish athletes.
So Maya getting the verdict, although only very gentle bragging rights over her teammate Greta Felicitas Krauser. 9:32.21, 9:32.27, just 600 as they jogged across the line. Renoir knew that she comfortably qualified, and as I say, Kashepa, well, that was a great run from Kashepa, not that far from her personal best for the pole. She's got a 9:33.03 personal best from last month. Well, bit of an unknown quantity, as I said earlier in the race, and she's just a few tenths outside that personal best. Cohen coming through, and Stabila Rosso as well, Serrano, Urban. That will complete the list of 8 women who will progress to Thursday night's final. I wouldn't fancy being that cameraman, unless of course he's got waterproofs on.
Look at that, a national record for Gabriela Grosu of Moldova, making that move in the latter stage of the race to keep herself very much in the top 8. So Pedersen in this shot put final then. We know it's going to be very close, particularly for the bronze medal, even if Fabry and Weir, particularly the former, looking very strong right at the top. 22.31, 14 centimetres off his own championship record. Pedersen, though, looks to be an improvement on the tape of 21 metres. The Swedish national record holder maintains good contact by the circle, but moves with great agility through it. 20.86 up into 3rd place, and Pedersen, Lincoln, Toda, 3rd, 4th, 5th, separated by just 6 centimetres. And if you go one further back to Ponzio, there's 10 between 3rd and 6th.
Very competitive for the, let's just say, minor medals in the men's shot put. Leonardo Fabry, though, looking as though he's well on the way to retaining his title. And now the women out for the second of the 2 first-round races in the women's steeplechase. 17 women, so quite a large field. Class act here, of course, Alice Fino, the reigning European 3,000 metre steeplechase champion. Emily Thorner leads the European list this year with that sparkly 9:05 that she ran to take the silver medal at the Commonwealth Games. Keep an eye out as well for Monanen, the very good Swede who's improved the Swedish, I should say Finn, who's improved the Finnish record this year to 9:15. She finished 6th in the 2024 Rome steeplechase, and there we see Monanen. I'm sure she'd like to just get up onto the podium on this occasion. Showing a few laps with Henriksen.
Because the final throw of round 4 will be the event leader Leonardo Fabri of Italy.
So,
The defending European
full
champion.
lineup from the outside. Annemark Helve, European under-18 2,000 metre steeplechase winner at the very first European under-18 championships back in 2016. King Krolak, European under-23 silver medalist in 2021 in Tallinn. Maria Mahala Blaga, she's just seen the Romanian record improve.
Drawn 16 for Poland, Kinga Krolik. Drawn
European
15 for
under-23
Romania,
champion
Maria Mihaela
in the
Blaga. At 14, we welcome the new
steeplechase.
Commonwealth Games silver medalist for Great
Elise
Britain.
Thorner,
Elise
got the blue
Thorner.
bib there, which signifies that she's the European leader.
At 12, Ilona Monanen of Finland. 11,
5 at the
Vilde
European
Lager
all-time
Henriksen
list,
of Norway.
Thorner.
10 for Great Britain,
Poli.
Stevie Lawrence Rist. 9 for France,
Last year's
Alice
Italian
Pino.
champion. Monanen. Henriksen we see there.
8
Stevie
for
Lawrence
Poland,
Rist.
Alicia Konicek.
Britain.
7 for Turkey,
9:32 in the UK Championships recently. 5
for Sweden, Julia Samuelsson. 4 for
Winner
Portugal,
of the European Team Championships wearing a Polish vest.
For France, Clara Ontrasangel.
Now, next to her, a Turkish compatriot Yanigun. Julie Samuelsson, the Swede. Lara Taborda. Portuguese champions in there. Ontrasangel, Frenchwoman. Just seen one Frenchwoman go through, Flavia Renoir. Ontrasangel will be looking to join her. Olivia Girth was 11th in the final 2 years ago. And on the inside, Abby Sheridan of Ireland. Two-time Irish champion over the barriers, both last year and this year. So those are the 17 women. Just 8 to go through to Thursday night's final. Fino wearing the bib, black on gold, denoting the defending champion. Bunch start, it's Girth who goes to the front. She's just seen her two compatriots finish first and second in the first heat. Also up there, very tall pole, Konishek. By virtue of her 2 wins in those European Team Championships, knows how to run in championship races. Konishek doesn't necessarily have a super quick time to her name, did run 9:16 2 years ago in the Olympic Games. Since then has been struggling a little bit to find her best form. Diminutive Romanian on the outside, Blaga. Just see her there, dwarfed by Konishek on her inside. So it's a very steady opening pace.
So Yon of Romania then in this triple jump. The A group this is. Diana Ana Maria Yon, to give her her full name. She's a 14:56 performer. That is her lifetime best this year. Ooh, very close to automatic qualifying there. And she needed that desperately. You can see her first and second round efforts were just not up there, just not good enough. Took a European indoor silver last year in Apeldoorn, and she improved her best. Oh my word. Oh dear. Oh, that's a real shame. And these are the rules now. It doesn't look like she's touched the ground beyond the board, but she's rolled into the space above it while still in contact with the board, and therefore it's deemed a no jumper. 1.3 win behind her means nothing. That is a disastrous scorecard for her, I'm afraid. Jon would have been one of the ones to challenge for a place in the top 6 at least.
So, 6 laps to go. Just went through the first 600 metres in almost 2 minutes exactly. Still very much Girth at the front, controlling proceedings. Well, Thorner just moved up there very steadily, along with the 2 French women, Fino and Entresangle. This is looking as though it's a little bit quicker than the earlier heat. Thorner starting to string them out a little bit with that injection of pace. Big bunch though, all 17 women still very much in contention. But Thorner now has just injected that a little bit of pace and doing just the right thing just to avoid trouble. French women, well, of course, with personal bests of 8:58 and 9:17, 2 of the women you'd expect to be looking at going through automatic qualification. Girth, with her experience, has made several European Championship finals and was European Under-20 champion in Tallinn back in 2021. So she's very much in contention. Konishek running a very steady, very controlled race on the inside there, the very tall pole.
Yeah, so that first kilometre split, around a second slower than we had in the previous heat. Doesn't matter too much, of course, but yeah, just fascinating, isn't it? Given Elise Thorner's improvement over the last year or so, that she's going up against Fino, European record holder, and really showing nerves of steel. Thorner has improved by 23 seconds since the start of the 2025 season. All of her top 10 times have come since then. Of course, Fino, big improver herself, and it looks like she's also answering a few questions here. 35 years of age now, but yes, maybe you wonder, just like Krauser, can she come up with a big sprint in a final towards the end of the race? Because we know from the Commonwealth Games, she was an England best, that Elise Thorner certainly can. And they're going toe-to-toe here, very close with the Entresangle just behind. Reminds me a little bit of the 5,000, where Decroix was just behind Gressier, came out on top in the end. But nicely bunched together here with Gert, who of course is an under-20 and under-23 champion, looking to see if she can cut the mustard at senior level.
Well, Thorner's had such a consistent year at 9:07 earlier in the season in Los Angeles, and then a couple of clockings in the low 19s. Followed up by that 9:05 to take silver at the European Commonwealth Games. Just shy of the British record held by Lizzie Bird. Bird getting 4th in the World Championships last year, just missing out on a medal with that 9:04. And that's in Thorner's sights, there's no doubt about it. Pino, of course, European record holder, personal best of 8:58.67. She set Olympic Games in front of family and friends in the Olympic Stadium in Paris, the Stade de France. 1,700 metres now. To see a few gaps. Thorner's pace, injected pace. She did sort of slightly slow down initially, just before the 1 kilometre mark, and has speeded up again now. That leading pack down to 8. And that fits very nicely into the qualifications situation. Hanging on at the back, Jenigen, European under-23 champion back in 2015. Jenigen just started to really show as a senior. It's taken a long time to make that transition. Personal best 9:23 coming last year. Now Thorner, well, she was looking up. She could see the 2 big screens at the end of the stadium. See what's happening behind her, which is a very good tactic. Fino and Entresangle. Entresangle having a good race. Just sticking in there, just covering all the moves, doesn't have to really push too hard. Running well within herself at the moment, Girth there. And now there's a gap between the leading trio. Likes of Konishek drifting back. Tough orders up there as well.
Yeah, Konishek actually the one closing on the Turkish athlete Kunur. She's been eking down that gap and crucially trying to get into the top 8. So that is the battle to watch out for. Trying to get through to the final, only 8 going through.
Thorner now, 2 laps to go. So just over 2 minutes of running. And Thorner looking very relaxed indeed. Pino up there. That trio. Monanen as well. We haven't really talked about Monanen, but she ran a very good race. Just tacked on the back. Calculated what she's needed to do to qualify. Monanen. 9:15. Finish record in Stockholm back in June. See the lineup. It's calling it Konishek, but it is in fact Krolick who is in the qualifying position, and she's just been joined by Konishek. Konishek was quite a way back. Konishek has just worked her way back into the second group there. Bit of a stutter from Emily Thorne. Oh! And that looks like it's Ontrasangle taking a tumble out of the water jump there, but she's recovered quickly. Coming up to hear the bell. Thorner comfortably over there. Just coming through, taking the bell. 8:18. 5 women in the leading pack, led by Elise Thorner. Jenigun starting to try and close them down. Doesn't need to. She's working really hard, the Turk, to get up there with the leading quintet. Then there's 2 poles, Konishek and Krolick. Those are the women in the qualifying positions at the moment. Really don't need to work this hard. See the strain on Jenigun's face back in the 6th place at the moment. Jenigun just moving out wide, getting clear sight of the barrier. Just the water jump and the last barrier to go. Thorner, though, having run a really tactically astute race, got to the front. There's clear sight of the barriers all the way through. And Ontrasangle gets through that water jump without any problems. Now they're just looking around, just checking what's going on. Konishek has got herself up there into the leading group. So it's going to be all 7 of these women that are qualifying. And Krolick, who was up there for so long, hung on, gritted her teeth, and she comes through in 8th. But a nice win for Elise Thorner. 9:32 unofficially, 9:32.40. Good run from Thorner, and really, well, she did a very good job there of getting a bit of moral supremacy over the defending champion Alice Fino. Fino slipping back to 3rd. Just a few hundredths behind Ilya Monanen, a very good fit.
Yes, a few years ago, it would have been a personal best for Elise Thorner, but such is the consistency that she's shown. As I say, all of her top times coming since the start of the 2025 season. And Monanen, perhaps even better than Thorner through the age groups, and also winning at the European Team Championships. There's a dead heat between her and Sarah Tate in Spain last year, on improving to 9:15. You see in 3rd place at this point, but you can certainly say that there is a new generation of European steeplechasers coming through, and as such is the quality on the World Olympic stage. It's a big chance for athletes at the European Championships like Elise Thorner, and that silver on the Commonwealth Games, of course, giving her a fantastic boost of confidence.
There are the triple jump qualifiers. Saraceni with that personal best of 14:50. Derkach, Masson, Wittmann, Damisas and Askag, all automatic qualifiers. Ivana Spanovic as well, going out to 14:21 with her first effort. The big news was Iron, the European leader. 3 no jumps, failing to qualify.
So, Fantini, European champion, reigning European champion in this women's hammer throw. Is this a formality or not? Her opening effort, keeping her tracksuit bottoms on. Boom. Well, it's not 71.50. It's about 70-50. A little shake of the head there from Fantini. She threw 74-18 to win in Rome 2 years ago in front of the home crowds, defeating Anita Wlodarczyk of Poland by, well, just over a metre. Rose Logra of France taking the bronze 4 years ago. That will almost certainly, I think, get her through to the final, 70-51. That shouldn't be a problem. We can look at the summary from the two groups, and that 70-51, yeah, that puts her in fourth overall. She's definitely through to the final with that. I don't know if she'll throw on and want to get the big Q beside her name. She's got a small Q beside her name at the moment, but the defending champion the reigning champion, I say, will be able to defend it come the final. She's through. Good old chat to her coach there is Sara Fantini.
Men's shot put final then, and Nick Ponzio here in 6th place, final round. So therefore, last 6 attempts. Ponzio, who was at one point in 3rd. To get on the podium, who needs 20.86, position held by Pettersson of Sweden. It's very close to 21, but it's a red flag crucially. Pettersson still having to wait at this stage. Looks like next will be the European indoor champion, Andrei Toda of Romania.
Protest.
Oh, who's always struggling to stay balanced there, unfortunately for Nick Ponzio. A great showman. I mentioned in qualification the Super Mario bibs that he has with his name on them, and the Fred Flintstone ones too. Definitely want to see for yourself on social media.
So Andrei Toda, reigning European indoor champion, down in 5th place at the moment. Only needs to improve by 6 centimetres to get into the bronze medal slot, currently owned by Victor Pettersson, who you just saw a glimpse of there, watching intensely. Very quick in the circle, good rotational technique. That's not going to be an improvement though. So he's out of the medals on this occasion. Brief fist bump. Clinched with disappointment with Victor Pettersson. 2018 for Toda.
Well, Scott Lincoln will not want to be 4th again. The same position as the European outdoors, European indoors, world indoors. He feels like he has earned a medal, but it's always so close. As I say, the 23 times UK medalist, one shy of Mike Winch's record at national level. What can he do here in the final round? Looks to be just short. Does get the white flag, but he knows. So Victor Pettersson, as we wait for the official measurement for Scott Lincoln, 20.09. So, we know our medalists. Sweden do get on the podium this time after Fanny Roos just missed out, and Axelina Johansson, my pick on the predictor game for bronze, unable to follow through with that. So let's see if the order can be changed, and we absolutely know that there's one way it's most likely to be changed. Pettersson here.
Yes, Victor Pettersson, European indoor silver medalist back in 2025. To get a silver medal here, he needs to go better than 21.12. He's got the bronze, and that is bang on the 21-metre line, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to overtake Zane Weir. So Victor Pettersson takes bronze for Sweden. It's his best throw of the series without a doubt, but just not quite good enough to move up a place on the podium. 20.97, he finishes with a flourish. He certainly can't be disappointed with that. He'd have needed something close to his season's best of 21.38. Good way to finish from Victor Pettersson. Sweden get their first medal of these 27th European Athletics Championships? Well, it's going to be Italy 1 and 2. Zane Weir is the man in the silver medal position at the moment. 21-12. He's going to need an enormous season's best to try and overtake Leonardo Fabri.
Zane Weir once 3 years ago, 22.44. Padova 2023, the same year that he got the European indoor title, but short on this occasion, and he would have known that silver would have likely been a position he'd find himself in, given that this man, Leonardo Fabri, was the reigning champion, the European leader. 22 metres in 4 out of his last 5 competitions, and make that 5 out of 6.
So Zane Weir celebrates a silver medal, the former European indoor champion. But this man came and on this occasion delivered. He's got gold on his bib, and very shortly he'll have a gold hanging around his neck. Leonardo Fabri, the world leader with 22.74. He's better than anybody Europe can produce. He's better than anything the Americans can produce. What can he produce here? Well, drops down around the 21-metre mark, but it doesn't matter. Oh, and he's stepped out. He's fouled his last 3 attempts, indeed. He's 22-31 coming in the 3rd round. But there is no denying his 3 valid efforts, all better than anybody else in this competition could manage. What do you say about that, Alex? Leonardo Fabri, once again, proving supreme.
He is the 6th athlete to win back-to-back European men's shot put titles. The first Italian to do that, following 3 Germans, 1 Icelandic athlete, 1 Hungarian. He has the crown on his head. He's not far away, as we know, from the European record, 23.06, that has been held by Ulf Tillman since 1988. Could that be a future target from the man who is 5th all-time? And he has another European title, and makes up for some disappointment, of course, at the World Indoors, only 7th earlier this year, but on this particular stage he is brilliant once again.
Yes, I'll tell you what, I think he might have brought that crown with him. I think that's the leftover from Rome 2 years ago. I just wonder whether we're going to get a song. Perhaps not here, but in Rome we got a song when he serenaded the crowd after his winning performance. And Victor Pettersson just reminded that the photographers would like a photo of all 3 of them, not just the 2 Italians. You're looking a bit sheepish, no need to be. But it was a marvellous performance from Fabri. And as you rightly say, well, he's not that far from his own personal best, an Italian record of 22.98 this year. It's gone out to 22.74. And in the absence of a fit Ryan Krauser, he is the world #1 without a doubt.
Yes, it means he's now beaten Zane Weir in their head-to-head 51 times compared to 30 for Weir, and Fabri being the stronger over the last couple of years, certainly. So another 1-2 finish for a nation in the shot put, following the women's 1-2 for the Dutch. 22.31 it is in the end. And look at that, top 6 all over 20 metres there. Indeed, top 8 back to Stanancevic, silver medalist in Munich, but only 8th here. Real quality shot put final for the 2nd time tonight.
So the penultimate final on this first evening of the European Athletics Championship, and it's the 4x400 metres mixed relay. Well, no reigning champions, no defending champions. Ireland, they didn't make the cut in terms of having the seeding times, but we do have a very, very high quality lineup indeed.
In lane 9, Belgium, Robin van der Venden.
So on the outside in lane 9, Belgium, Van der Moden, Hansens, Mabelet and Lombard.
In lane 8, Italy.
On their inside, the Italians, second in 2024.
In lane 7, Spain.
So the Italian trio of Sudassi, Pollinari, Cito and Mangione. Strong squad. Spain. Their national record came in Gabrone back in April. Garcia, Sevilla, Pines and Urbas. Now the Norwegians. Could they be, in the wake of Jakob Ingebrigtsen's gold, the dark horses in this competition? Norwegians of Warholm, Juhl, Hulseng and Jaeger. Great Britain, Jeffries, Henrich, Harrison, John. Well, Vessant, the new super quick French record holder, leads off for the French, followed by Kouakau, Mudial and Black. The Dutch, well, Lieke Klavers is in there in lane 2, part of the Dutch team. He's the European record at 3:07.43. Poland, Shved, Verona, Kutrus-Pez, Zazula and Bukowiecka.
Championship record of 3:09 to Ireland 2 years ago.
On your mark.
So as they settle down, Norwegians cast to pour home. European record holder, the 400 metres hurdles, the only man ever to go under 46 seconds in the 400 metres hurdles. Former European indoor record holder over 400 metres without the barriers. So from the inside, Poland, Netherlands, France, Great Britain, Norway, Spain, Italy and Belgium. Belgium fourth in 2024. By their own admission this time, the team coach has said to their top runners, favour the individual events. The Belgians putting out a B team, but at the moment, looking pretty good. Van der Blenden running well at the moment, but as you might expect, Carson Volholm, and it's going to be the Norwegians who hand over first.
Well, Warholm ran a fantastic leg there, but so did the Dutch lead-off man, Jonas Pfeifers. Lieke Klaver takes over for them on this second leg there. Bottom of picture in the orange. Klaver, a very aggressive 400-metre racer. She loves to go out hard, to commit early, and she leads at the moment. If anything, she'll build a lead over this next couple of 100 metres. It depends whether or not Juhl there for Norway, and it is a strong quartet from Norway, you're right, Phil, but they're about 7 or 8 metres down at the moment. If Juhl can close down the Klavers, who's pulling away at the moment. Now, has she gone too hard this first 300? Because the chase is on behind. There's a lot of aggressive running coming on behind Klavers. Juhl in second place. In third place there, looking good is Great Britain, coming through for Great Britain. A fabulous run this from Charlotte Henrich. She's had such a season. It's the Netherlands, Norway and Great Britain.
Well, Netherlands at the moment still holding on to that lead. It's a terrific performance there at the front from the Dutch third man, Terence Aagaard. Well, no Femke Bol, no Eugene Amola, who ran in the 400 metres this morning, but Aagaard really putting in a fine performance and starting to put good distance between himself and Great Britain's Toby Harris. Harris working really hard at the moment. Norway trying to close down Harris. Andreas Kulseng battling away at the moment, but it's the Dutch still leading the way. Harris closing very quickly. This is going to be a fantastic last leg.
What a run that was from Harris. The Dutchman goes down, it doesn't matter. He got the pattern across okay to Merta van der Schoot. The Dutch lead there. Great Britain in second place. In second place for Britain is Yemi Mary John, who earlier on this summer burst through the 50-second barrier. She's got the baton in her hand now, and so many athletes run better with the baton in their hand. But the Norwegian Henriette Jager is a fabulous runner too. She's strong and she's tucked in to the slipstream behind these two. It's still the Netherlands, Great Britain and Norway. 1, 2, 3, 150 to run. The rest of them are way back. They're having their own battle. But the final leg runner for the Netherlands, Märtha van der Schoot. Can she hold the lead? Look at Jager for Norway. They have a goal tonight already through Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and it's going to be double goal for the Norwegians here. Jager has burst away over the last 50 to take that one. Silver for Great Britain, bronze for the Netherlands. But Jager, wow, her last 60 or 70 metres was irresistible. I wonder what her lap time would have been. It doesn't matter. She has a European mixed 4x400 metres gold medal. He's a shy, retiring fella, is Karsten Warholm. But Phil, you said it at the start, Norway have a very strong quartet, and didn't they deliver?
Yes, and it wasn't just a story about Karsten Warholm as well. The three other team members who came immediately after him really delivered there. Big shout out to Amelie Yule, Andreas Kulseng, who ran a very good third leg. He was possibly the weak link on the team, but he didn't show any weakness at all, holding off the opposition. And Henriette Jager just went through the gears with about 70 metres to go. Not just a championship record, but a national record as well for Norway. Absolutely terrific performance, though, behind them from Great Britain, Northern Ireland. I mean, it wasn't the strongest quartet on paper, but terrific performances. Once again, Toby Harris, I'll give him a shout out with that absolutely fantastic third leg, which initially closed down the Netherlands, but he managed to also put them in a very good position. And I think Harris takes a lot of the credit for giving Great Britain, Northern Ireland the silver medal.
Boy, oh boy, this was the critical moment. You could see Jager there summing them up. She almost had to cut her stride just there. She almost ran into the back of them. She is so strong. She clips her stride again there with about 90 metres to go. Resets herself, pumps away with those arms, and is lengthening her stride here as the other two slow and fatigued. Great running from Yemi Mary John to ease past the Dutch final leg athlete Märtha van der Schoot for that silver. But goodness me, she took 6 or 7 metres out of them over the last 70, did Henriette Jager. And what a night for the Norwegians.
Jager's going to go into the 400 metres as the favourite for individual gold as well. I'll say maybe Karsten Warholm as well, perhaps, for the 400 metres hurdles.
Karsten Warholm's first ever relay medal. Amelie Yule's been his training partner for pretty much since they've been in the sport the whole time, and that's her first major championship medal.
Hold on, he's never had a relay medal before.
Never had a chance, but bringing together the best two men and the best two women is a great opportunity for Norway, just as it was for Ireland a couple of years ago.
So 3:09.62 for the Norwegian quartet, a national record and a championship record as well. That championship record falling, it was previously held by Ireland from 2 years ago. There's the confirmed results. Norway take gold. Great Britain and Northern Ireland 3:10.47, just shy of their national record for silver. Netherlands, perhaps not with the strongest of quartets, no Femke Bol as we said, but still on the podium with the bronze.
Wow. Well, you can see the main stand there to the left of the picture is pretty well populated. And, they're the qualifiers for the final in that women's hammer.
Yes, so Jakobsen and Lano Kosonen, the three over that automatic mark of 71.50. Nicola Tutel of Ireland's been very consistent over the last few years. She's got a PB every year she's thrown the hammer, and looking strong as their medal hope. You know, Yemi Mary John, she looked gutted there, I have to say, because Jager beat her in Norway last year, only just, to individual gold, the under-23s, and John, I think, wanted to take revenge on home soil, couldn't do so.
So there's the qualifiers, all 16 of them for the steeplechase final on Thursday evening, led by Leah Mayer, who won the first of the two races in 9:32.21, all the way down. And for Cohen, once again, getting a place in the final. Look at that, and it was a Romanian national record in there as well. Oh, that's going to be Photos that appear everywhere in Norway, and a very strong contingent of Norwegian media here, generated by Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Carsten Boerhaug. But now the likes of Henriette Jaeger, Andreas Kulsang and Annette Juhl are going to get their plaudits as well.
Well, it's the final action of the night. It is the women's 100-metre final. They've had some of these athletes 3 races in the day. Semi-finals a couple of hours ago. That's what they're racing for. Beautiful medals too, by the way. I don't know if that's been alluded to. I think those are good, chunky, proper-looking medals. Nothing strange about them. They are a bit like Iron Man's bionic heart, or is it his nuclear heart? Phil, you've got one of those, haven't you?
I haven't got one as big as that, though.
Let's have a look at the 8 finalists. Dina Asher-Smith, 30 years old now, the defending champion, 3rd in a semi-final, got through as a non-automatic qualifier. She ran 11.10 in her final. She's got quicker than that in her legs. She was a world junior champion back in 2014. She's been doing it in British colours for 12 years now. There's Zainab Dosso, European indoor champion last year, world indoor champion this year. The Italian goes in lane 3. She was second in a semi, 11.11. Amy Hunt, well, she may be the favourite. She won a semi-final in 10.99, the quickest in the semis, the Britain. She's only 24, she's a growing force. She has a silver medal from the Commonwealth Games a couple of weeks back. Her personal best, 10.97, was at Stockholm just 2 months ago. She's the European number 2. Patricia van der Beken of Luxembourg. Well, her personal best is 11 seconds dead. She ran 11.05. Her season's best is 11.05. She ran 11.08 in her semi-final. 4th in European final 2 years ago in Rome. Can she go one better here and get a medal? Eva Svoboda. Well, she looked great in her semi-final. She won it in 11.10. She's a super quick starter. Former European indoor champion at 60 metres. And she may shock yet. She goes in 6. She's right in the thick of the action. Geraldine de Tizio Frey. She is the find of the season for the Swiss. She's 29 years old. You could call her a late developer under her coach Patrick Seidel. She won her semi-final 11.02, but she's European number 1 this year with 10.96. And she won the Swiss title on the 25th of July, just a couple of weeks ago. Delphine Kanza of Belgium goes in lane 8. Personal best this morning with 11.07 from 11.13. She's won national titles for France, Portugal and Belgium because of her life, the way she's moved around. She was second in her semi, 11.10 in Kanza. And Salome Cora, the second Swiss athlete going in this one. 4th in her semi-final. It was the first semi-final. She ran 11.12. She had to sit around for 20 minutes or more to see if she'd go through as a non-automatic qualifier. She did. Her coach Christian Gutschgel will be watching this with care. So the defending champion is here. The top 3 in Europe this year are here. Nervous moments these for all these women. Tizio Frey is European number 1. Amy Hunt is European number 2. And Davis Svoboda, European number 3 this year. They are the only 3 in Europe in 2026 who have gone under 11 seconds. Hunt then. Well, the quickest in the semis. She comes late. She's better at 200. Remember, a silver medal from last year at the World Championships, over 200. Expect her to come through really strongly in the last 20 or 30 metres. She goes in 4. Dina Asher-Smith. Can she refine that medal-winning form? 25 major medals in big championships in the years gone by. Can she make it 26 here tonight? She holds the UK national record. She's over on the far side. That's at 10.83. She's the quickest in the field on paper. So Asher-Smith to the right in 2, Dosso for Italy in 3, Amy Hunt in 4, Van der Beken of Luxembourg 5, Svoboda Poland 6, Frey of Switzerland 7, Tizio Frey, Kanza Belgium 8, Salome Cora to the left for Switzerland. I thought there was a little twitch there from Van der Beken, but they get away with it. Really good start there from Dosso. Second to right, look at Svoboda. Svoboda going away with this one. Amy Hunt coming through. Is it going to be gold for Britain? It is indeed, and silver there for Svoboda of Poland. And the winning time, 11 seconds exactly. It's about what you can do against your opposition, what you necessarily can do, not what you can do against the clock. 11 seconds, she'd love to go under 11, but it doesn't matter. She's European champion. She's world silver medalist in the longest sprint, and that is to come. She said at her press conference yesterday, I want it all. I want the 100, the 200, the relay. I want everything. And Kanza, a fabulous bronze there for the Belgians, a personal best, 11.06. Dear, oh dear. Tizio Frey, the European #1, down in 4th place. She couldn't deliver on the big stage, and maybe that came down to lack of experience, Alex, on the big occasion.
Potentially there, but Amy Hunt is the one proving time and time again that she is a senior star. She was incredible at the age of 17. People wondered, she went off to study in Cambridge. Would she ever break those initial personal bests from her teenage self? Well, boy, has she done that. And very, very close to the winning time from the last couple of editions. 10.99, 10.99, and now 11 seconds exactly. Svoboda, though, always gets a good start and always competes well. That's her 6th European medal across indoors and out. And Canso's typically stronger, over 200 with a personal best to get on the podium. And Asher Smith, she had a bit of a demon face after winning a couple of years ago. She knew that she hadn't run the perfect race, and of course 100 being so short, if you make a mistake, don't have the best start, you'll pay for it. She didn't really a couple of years ago, but she did here. Van der Beken again misses out by small fractions, having been 4th 2 years ago and 0.01 off a medal. This time finishes 6th, and feel a bit sorry there for Dosso. Another just seemed to be stronger over 60. The world indoor champion is way back as 7th.
Yeah, Asher Smith, her best years behind her. She's extreme rider. She used to be a superstar and not as quick now. Dosso was so quick, certainly then through to halfway. Then Svoboda was at the front. Their lead changed so many times. I thought Svoboda had it. But Amy Hunt, you can rely upon her to be really strong, to hold her form so well through the last 20, to charge through the line. She's tall and she's lean. She didn't need to dip. She just maintained her momentum and looked absolutely supreme there. It's a tiny winning margin, but in sprinting terms, it's big enough. 11 seconds exactly through Svoboda's 11.02. And gold for Great Britain on this first night.
Amy Hunt just saying there to you and Thomas Trackside, she's getting fed up of silvers. I remember a certain Keely Hodgkinson saying that, saying it wouldn't happen again, she would get the gold. And that's what Amy Hunt had done. Of course, she did that at European under-20 level. That was 7 years ago now. Look at her coming through, and it's almost as though some people might say, if she could sort out that start and become faster at that, imagine what could achieve at the very top Olympic level. Couple of years' time.
She's got it all, hasn't she, Amy Hunt? Brains and fabulous sprinting form. Wow. She is champion. That's the most significant race of her life, I think, to become European champion. It kind of outdoes being World Championship silver medalist. But people remember the winner, don't they?
Yes, 100%. It really enables her to kick on one more level following that world silver, and maybe some people thought that was a surprise, the way she finished, the way she beat Dina Asher-Smith. And to be honest, when you are competing in the 100 metres, you are a poster boy or a poster girl, but at the top level you're coming up against the Jamaicans, the Americans, so the Europeans is your real chance to shine and get that gold, and she's done that.
Amy Hunt, the winner then in the women's 100 metres, 1 metre per second the wind behind them, but Hunt winning 11 seconds exactly from Poland's Svoboda. So gold for Great Britain, silver for Poland, and Kanza a brilliant bronze for Belgium with a personal best there. And Tizio Frey, the European #1 of Switzerland, just run out of there into 4th place. Well, it always gives the teams that get medals on the first day a big boost early in the championships, and certainly Norway have had a heck of an evening, haven't they? Wow. Couple of goals. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, that'll be surely the story of the day, that comeback from surgery back in February, and the biggest part of a year away from racing.
Without a doubt. So that brings to a conclusion the first day of these 2026 European Athletics Championships. Gold in the shot put went to the favourites, Jessica Schilder and Leonardo Fabri of the Netherlands and Italy respectively. Norway, well, they added to their gold reserves in the mixed relay with a fantastic outing, and they really proved themselves over 4 laps of the track in that innovative event. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, well, of course, that is the story of the day, no doubt about it. But here, Amy Hunt sends the Birmingham crowd home happy. Amy Hunt wins the 5th and final gold medal on this opening evening, taking the 100 metres in 11 seconds exactly. Well, I think it's time for ourselves to say goodnight as we just look at the highlights once again of this 100 metres. I tell you what though, what really impressed me about Amy Hunt is her form started to go ever so slightly over the last 20 or 15 metres, but she just clawed back the deficit on Svoboda with sheer guts and determination. When we looked at those head-on shots, you could see the expression on her face. She was saying to herself almost, I'm not going to let this gold go. And there we see it. Amy Hunt, well, she said she'd been sick of silver. Well, it's gold tonight, and she can sleep very happily.
So a chance now to focus on events over the course of the evening. Two emphatic shot champions. Jessica Schilder took the women's shot title with the 5 longest throws of the competition. Out to 20.52 in the third round, and then a magnificent 20.73 in round 6. There you can see Jorinda van Klinken picked up the silver, and there is the champion. Her second successful defense of the title, her third straight gold for the reigning world champion Jessica Schilder. Gold and silver for the Netherlands. So there you can see confirmation of that result. Jorinda van Klinken there picking up a silver medal, her lifetime best performance, 19 meters 64. Mimisa Mabry there of Germany picking up bronze. Well, let's just focus now for a couple of moments on the men's shot competition. Leonardo Fabri, well, he was almost as emphatic as Schilder was in the women's competition. Fabri started off with 21.36, then went out at 21.78, and then 22.31. There you can see Victor Pedersen, he was the bronze medalist. The silver medalist, Zane Weir there of Italy. Scott Lincoln of Great Britain just missing out on a medal. He finished 4th. But it was Leonardo Fabri, here he is. And that's his third round effort, 22 meters 31. 21.36 in the opening round, 21.78 in the second round, and then that which clinched the title, Fabri with the best 3 throws of the shot final. So there you see that result. Scott Lincoln down in 4th, just missing out on a medal by 16 centimetres. Well, the first track final of the night came over 5,000 metres. Jimmy Gressier of France alongside Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And it was Gressier who led coming into the straight. Ahead there of Florian Brehm of Germany. But it was, after almost a year away competitively, he's had surgery in the meantime, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, a European champion again, his 7th gold at these championships. Stunning performance from Ingebrigtsen, surprising all, and Gressier, the reigning world champion over 10,000 metres, in the end, beaten for guile, beaten for pace. So it was bronze in the end for France. Etienne Daguino, not Gressier. Gressier being run out of it into 4th place. Florian Brehm there, the Germany's had a very good season, picking up the silver. James West of Great Britain coming home in 12th spot. So 2 more track finals tonight of those 5 gold medals that were handed out. And what a climax it was. The Netherlands, Great Britain and Norway coming into that final leg of the 4x4 mixed relay. Yemi Mary John moving on to the shoulder of the Dutch athlete, but lurking behind was Henriette Jaeger. And Jaeger, well, she's almost treading all over the heels of the Briton. And Jaeger, just watch her there in third place. Has to check her stride, step out, and then kick. And she left the others for dead. Gold for Norway, their second of the night. Karsten Warholm, world record holder at the 400-metre hurdles, led them off in that race. Yemi Mary John bringing the baton home in second place for Great Britain, and it was bronze for the Netherlands. So here is that result. Gold there to Norway. Winning time 3 minutes 9.62 seconds, championship record. Great Britain and Northern Ireland in second place. The Netherlands third. Poland, such good relay runners, run out of it that time. They come home in fourth. And the final of the night went to that woman, Amy Hunt. Her championship gold. There is Hunt. 3 from the right. If anything, a better 200-metre runner, and it was that strength of the British sprinter which came through in the last 40 metres. She takes the title. She was the fastest qualifier for the final, having won her semi in 10.99. 11 dead to take the title later on in the evening. It was the Pole Eva Svoboda who came through there for second place, and perhaps a surprise bronze for Belgium. Delphine Onkanza in third. The defending champion over on the far side, Dina Asher-Smith of Great Britain. She finished fifth. Look how Hunt comes through. Svoboda, such a good indoor runner, but it was the speed strength of Amy Hunt which clinched the title. So here is that result. Amy Hunt, the champion. 11.00. Svoboda, just 2/100ths of a second behind her. And Onkanza, the fastest time of her life, 11.06. Well, that's it from us this evening. Before we do go, let's go through what's happening tomorrow, shall we? And we've got 2 sessions. All gets underway 10:30 tomorrow. You can catch that on TNT Sports. The evening session, 7 o'clock. And there we see the big finals. The men's hammer first off. And we have 3 further finals on the track. Women's 5, women's 100-metre hurdles, and then the fastest men in Europe. 9:47. That brings the second evening session to a climax. The men's 100.